Chapter 4485. 5 legacies is too much. How about this? I don't want the Pinnacle Dominator divine weapon, but I want the 10 ultimate law inheritances, not one less. Long Chen looked at the 9 of them and said. The 9 of them were furious. Why couldn't they persuade her? What kind of place was this? Even if they gave her 10 legacies, would she be able to take them away? Okay. As long as your answer satisfies me, I can give you 10 legacies. Princess Moon Fairy's voice suddenly sounded. Your Highness, the 9 of them and the black-haired old man looked at Princess Moon Fairy in disbelief. She actually agreed to this person's request. It's useless to talk. You have to give me the legacies before I can tell you. Long Chen lowered his head and looked at Princess Moon Fairy. Don't go overboard. Princess Moon Fairy is the apple of the Emperor's eye. Why would she lie to you? The black-haired old man standing beside Princess Moon Fairy shouted angrily. Who knows? Long Chen pursed his lips. I'm a princess. Am I not worthy of your trust? Looking at Long Chen's attitude, Princess Moon Fairy was also angry. It's hard to know what's in a person's heart. Long Chen laughed. In fact, he wanted to send Princess Moon Fairy away on purpose. Because the Moon Fairy Princess was the daughter of the Emperor, she might have some trump cards on her. If they were to make a move later, with this woman present, there might be some variables. For example, the origin energy. Although he could interfere with the origin energy now, it was still the Divine Kingdom's origin energy. The Divine Kingdom's origin energy was much stronger than the Black Tortoise World's origin energy. Therefore, he didn't dare to take the risk. Okay. Wait here. I'll go get the legacies now. But remember, if I find out that you're lying to us, you'll be destroyed. Princess Moon Fairy laughed angrily. She turned around and entered the Imperial Capital Mountain. She didn't even look back. The 9 great commanders and Princess Yuxian looked at the departing figure and exchanged glances. Their eyes were filled with killing intent at the same time. They were actually waiting for Princess Yuxian to leave. Because as long as Princess Yuxian left, they would be able to attack without restraint. What do you want? I'm telling you all, do not act recklessly. Right now, I am the only one who knows who killed your family. Still. The princess told us to wait for her here. If you kill me, the princess won't let you off easily. Long Chen revealed a timid expression as he looked at the 9 commanders. Now you know fear. Unfortunately, it's too late. Reckless fool, how dare you blackmail us? You're not telling me. It doesn't matter. As long as we capture you, we have 10,000 ways to make you talk. As for your highness. When she asks later, we'll say that you started it. Of course, you can also defend yourself. But do you think her highness will trust us or you, a stranger? The 9 people sneered. The black-haired old man was also gloating. How dare you blackmail the 9 great commanders? Do you think you're Lu Yuntian and Lu Yunfeng? Looking at the 10 of them, Long Chen was extremely flustered. Attack. Don't let him self-destruct, and don't give him a chance to destroy his divine soul. Dong Haitian shouted. Boom. In the next moment. The 9 people's aura erupted as they charged toward Long Chen. With their strength, killing an ordinary person was nothing more than a piece of cake. Moreover, the 9 of them were working together. Hence, they never thought that they would fail. But at this moment, Long Chen's lips curled up slightly. The timid and panicky expression that he showed earlier vanished instantly. Boom! In the next moment, the god's domain appeared. Long Chen, who stood in the god's domain, was like a god that controlled everything. His aura was completely different from before. What is this? The 9 people were stunned. Without hesitation, they threw a punch at the god's domain. I am God, the ruler of everything. Long Chen said. His voice resounded in all directions. However, the god's domain did not collapse, nor did it merge with the world. It still maintained its original appearance. However, when the 9 people's fists landed on the god's domain, they felt as though they had landed on a ball of cotton. All of their strength was easily dissipated. How is this possible? The 9 people were shocked. This must be a dream. The black-haired old man rubbed his eyes hard. His face was filled with disbelief. You still don't know that you're about to die. How foolish. Long Chen smiled disdainfully. He took a step forward and instantly landed in front of the 9 people. The god's domain enveloped the 9 people. What the hell is this? The 9 people were shocked to find that they were unable to activate their ultimacy at this moment. For an expert with the will of heaven, it was a terrifying thing to be unable to activate their ultimacy when facing an enemy. This meant that no matter how many ultimacies you had, no matter how strong you were, you would be like a cripple without any ability to fight back. Destroy all of you. Long Chen's eyes flashed with killing intent. The 6 ultimacies roared out as the will of heaven erupted. What? He has also mastered the will of heaven. The black-haired old man and the 9 commanders were shocked. The black-haired old man made a prompt decision and fled towards the entrance of the imperial capital mountain. As long as he entered the imperial capital mountain, he would be fine. The 9 commanders also wanted to escape from the god's domain. However, Long Chen did not give them the chance to do so. The god's domain instantly expanded. Not only did it trap the 9 commanders, but it also enveloped the black-haired old man who was about to escape into the imperial capital mountain. No, who are you? The 10 people screamed in despair. Me? Then remember my name, Long Chen. Long Chen smiled faintly. As his voice fell, the 6 ultimacies carried the will of heaven and attacked. It's you. No, I don't want to die, the 10 people roared, shocking everyone. Whoosh! Figures flew out from the imperial capital mountain. They stood in the air and looked at the exit in shock. What was going on? Were those the screams of the 9 commanders? Who was so daring to come to the imperial capital mountain to kill them? Immediately, these people rushed towards the exit with murderous intent. The first to arrive was the Moon Fairy Princess. When the battle broke out, she realized that something was wrong and immediately returned. However, when she returned, she only saw blood floating in the air. Long Chen had already disappeared. Princess, what's going on? The others arrived one after another. Among them were the inner demons, Lu Jiajin, Dong Hanzong, and Dong Qingyuan. Looking at the shattered ground and the blood that was splattering in the air, their faces were filled with shock and anger. Someone killed the 9 commanders and the guards here. The Moon Fairy Princess clenched her fists. Her eyes were extremely cold. Who dared to come to the imperial capital mountain to kill people? Moreover, the 9 commanders were killed. This was undoubtedly a blatant provocation of the imperial capital mountain. What? They were killed so quickly. How is that possible? The 9 commanders all have the will of heaven. Even if the other party has the will of heaven, it shouldn't be so fast. The faces of everyone present were filled with disbelief. Could it be little cousin? No, this isn't his style. He wouldn't take the risk now. If it isn't little cousin, then who could it be? The mysterious young man. But this isn't his style either. Could it be the white-eyed wolf and the lunatic? That's not right either. The lunatic is now in the Myriad Demons Valley. The white-eyed wolf. Based on his style, he would definitely show off after killing the 9 commanders before leaving. What's going on? The inner demons and Lu Jiajin were very confused at this moment. Princess, this must be the doing of Qin Feiyang and the others. Suddenly, an angry roar sounded. The inner demons and Dong Qingyuan looked up and saw Dong Qingyuan looking like he was about to eat someone. That's right. It must be them. I really can't think of anyone else in the Central Dynasty who would have the guts to come to the imperial capital mountain and kill people. The others also nodded in agreement. Princess Yuxian's eyes flashed coldly. She suddenly looked at the inner demons and asked, "What do you think?" Lu Jiajin pretended to ponder for a while and said, "First, the families of the 9 commanders were killed. Now, they were killed. I think it must be the doing of Qin Feiyang and the others. Hee. Maybe it's because these 9 pieces of trash have offended too many people. For example, it's possible that it's some ambitious person." The inner demons bared his teeth and glanced at Dong Hanzong. "Why are you looking at me? Do you think it's me?" Dong Hanzong said angrily. "I didn't say that. I just said that it's possible. So don't confess without being pressed." The inner demons laughed. "You," Dong Hanzong glared at the inner demons. "It can't be Dong Hanzong. He's been with me all this time." Dong Qingyuan said. "Old thing, I didn't take the initiative to target you. Why did you bump into me?" The inner demon sneered and said meaningfully, "Then, is it possible that the 9 commanders know too many secrets of someone, so that person wants to silence them?" "You bastard! What are you talking about? Who are you talking about?" Dong Qingyuan shouted angrily. "How dare they shift the blame to him? I'm talking about someone, but I didn't mention his name. Is it really you? How can you do this? They are your confidants. They are loyal to you. No matter how many secrets they know, they won't betray you. Sigh. They worked so hard for you for so many years, but in the end, their families are ruined. It's really disappointing." The inner demons shook his head and sighed. He said it as if it was true. Dong Qingyuan was trembling with anger. "Enough. They're already at your doorstep. Why are you still causing trouble?" Princess Yuxian glared at them, her face full of anger. "Princess, it's not us who want to cause trouble. It's someone who wronged us in the imperial palace, saying that we're the real culprits who killed the 9 commanders' families. Right now, I merely want them to have a taste of what it is like to be wrongly accused." The inner demon sneered. Dong Hanzong and Dong Qingyuan's faces darkened when they heard this. The so-called someone was obviously talking about them. Chapter 4486. While the inner demons were targeting Dong Hanzong and Dong Qingyuan, in the sky above Hanzong City. Buzz! A space-time tunnel appeared. This space-time tunnel was not concealed. In an instant, many people noticed the space-time tunnel. Especially the members of the Death God Army who were hiding in the city, their eyes were fixed on the space-time tunnel. Although Qin Feiyang and the others had not appeared for a long time, none of the members of the Death God Army dared to relax. Thud. One by one, footsteps came from the space-time tunnel. These footsteps were very ethereal, as if containing a magical power, causing the heartbeat of everyone in the city to uncontrollably follow the frequency of the footsteps. Moreover, these footsteps could be described as weak. If one did not listen carefully, they would not be able to hear it. However, for some reason, such weak footsteps could clearly enter everyone's ears. At first, only a small number of people noticed the space-time tunnel in the sky, but with the sound of footsteps, almost everyone in the city could not help but look up at the space-time tunnel. Just the sound of footsteps could cause their heartbeat to accelerate. What kind of expert had come to Hanzong City? Finally, a burly man walked out of the space-time tunnel. That's right. It was Long Chen. Hanzong City, Dong Qin, you won't blame me for being nosy, right? Glancing at Hanzong City, Long Chen murmured in his heart, and then a smile appeared on his face. The god's domain opened again. Boom! The next moment, the god's domain dissipated in the void and merged with heaven and earth. It seems like he has ill intentions. The members of the death god army who were hiding in the dark felt the fluctuation of the heaven and earth law, and their faces suddenly sank. No longer hiding their whereabouts, they shouted, "Who are you? What do you want?" Long Chen looked at the members of the death god army. There were a total of more than a dozen people. You guys really put in a lot of effort. Seeing that you guys are working so hard, I'll set you free. Long Chen smiled faintly. Boundless power of the natural order suddenly surged out in this world. What? He can actually control the power of the heaven and earth law. The faces of the members of the death god army suddenly changed. What kind of amazing means was this? This was too ridiculous. Could this person be the guardian of the divine kingdom? However, they had never heard of any guardians in the divine kingdom. Destroy them all. Long Chen was like a monarch, announcing the end of Han Zhongcheng. As his voice fell, endless rule power flooded the city below. Don't be impudent. The members of the death god army roared, wanting to activate their ultimate intent. However, in the next moment, their bodies stiffened, and their faces were filled with bewilderment. What's going on? Why couldn't he unlock the ultimate profound? It was as if the power of laws in his body had been sealed by a mysterious power. They tried again, but they still couldn't open it. What's going on? Run! Quickly inform His Majesty and ask him to bring reinforcements. The dozen or so members were terrified. They looked at the crowd around them, who were also in a state of panic, and roared. This world has already become my domain. As long as you are in my domain, no one will be able to escape. Long Chen said faintly. His voice wasn't very loud, but it reverberated in everyone's mind, making them feel despair. The next moment, a scene that truly made them despair appeared. A surge of rule force emerged around each of them. These rule energies were like numerous large invisible hands, firmly binding them. Not to mention escaping, they could not even move a single step. Why is this happening? What the hell did he do? More than a dozen members of the death god army had reached the point where they were scared out of their wits. Even the emperor couldn't do such a thing. Who the hell is this person? No, in the face of the frenzied nomological power, everyone in the city couldn't help but roar in despair. However, it was meaningless. The rule power mercilessly killed. Ah, cries of agony echoed in the sky. The current Han Zhongqing was like a hell on earth. About a dozen breaths passed. Everything finally came to an end. At this time, Han Zhongqing was in tatters and a mess. On the ground, blood flowed like a sea of blood. It was a shocking sight. Sigh. Looking at this scene, Long Chen sighed deeply. This was really not his intention. Such a cruel and bloody scene was not what he wanted to see. But there were some things that he had to do. Because now, if he didn't do this, more people might die in the future. I hope this is the last massacre. He sighed. With a wave of his hand, the blood on the ground surged into the sky one by one, gradually condensing into lines of big words in the void. In the end, he glanced at these big words and turned to leave. What? Han Zhongqing was massacred. Imperial Mountain. Princess Yuxian, Dong Hanzong, Dong Qingyuan, Inner Demons, and Lu Jiajin also received this news very quickly. Their faces were full of horror. How long had it been? Han Zhongqing was also massacred. No, I don't believe it. Dong Hanzong regained his senses and immediately roared, rushing to Han Zhongqing. Princess Yuxian, Inner Demons, Lu Jiajin, and Dong Qingyuan also quickly followed. When the five of them arrived in the sky above Han Zhongqing, the ground that was riddled with holes, the blood, and the bones on the ground immediately entered their sight. At this moment, Han Zhongqing was simply like an azure hell, sending chills down their spines. Who is it? Who is it? Dong Hanzong looked at this scene in disbelief, and a monstrous murderous aura rushed out of his body. The city was really massacred. There was nothing left. The family business that he had worked so hard to build for many years was all gone in an instant. This kind of feeling almost made him collapse. Look! The inner demons pointed to the void above, and his pupils contracted tightly. Lu Jiajin, Dong Hanzong, Dong Qingyuan, and Princess Yu Xian all looked up and immediately saw the bloody words left by Long Chen. I originally didn't have the intention to kill indiscriminately, but the divine kingdom is too tyrannical. If you know your wrongs, I am willing to negotiate with you to create peace and prosperity between the two worlds. But if you insist on being stubborn, I can only stop killing with killing, and let the people of the divine kingdom be plunged into misery and suffering. Rivers of blood will flow. Every word was filled with a terrifying domineering aura. This was what Long Chen had left behind. He was not a lunatic, nor was he a cold-blooded person. Seeing so many people die in his hands, he really couldn't bear it. Negotiate? Dream on. If I don't kill you, I'm not human. Dong Hanzong roared hysterically. Dong Qingyuan and Princess Yu Xian clenched their hands tightly, and their eyes were filled with anger and murderous intent. After killing the 9 great commanders and massacring Han Zongchen, he still wanted to negotiate with them. Don't be naive. This blood feud was irreconcilable. Boom! Suddenly, another powerful aura descended. This was a golden figure, and his entire body exuded an emperor's aura that made people submit to him. That's right. The emperor had arrived in person. Father! Your Majesty! Dong Hanzong, Dong Qingyuan, and Princess Yu Xian immediately flew to the emperor's side. The emperor raised his hand, signaling the 3 to calm down, and then looked at the bloody words left by Long Chen. Your Majesty, the words 2 worlds clearly refer to the sky cloud realm and our divine kingdom. The murderer must be Qin Feiyang. Even if it's not Qin Feiyang, it must be his accomplice. Dong Qingyuan said in a deep voice. If it's really Qin Feiyang, it's actually a good thing for us. The emperor said. What? A good thing? Dong Qingyuan and the other 2 looked at the emperor in shock. Lu Jiajin and the inner demons were also surprised by the emperor's words. Killing the 9 great commanders and massacring Han Zongchen, and the speed was so fast that we couldn't even react. Think about how terrifying such means are. If this person is really Qin Feiyang's accomplice, do you know that not only will we have to face a powerful opponent like Qin Feiyang in the future, but we will also have to face an enemy that may be even more terrifying than Qin Feiyang? The emperor said in a deep voice. Dong Qingyuan, Dong Hanzong, and Princess Yu Xian's eyes trembled when they heard this. Hearing the emperor's words, it was indeed reasonable. If it was really Qin Feiyang, the situation in the future would still be the same as before. They just needed to find a way to kill Qin Feiyang. But if the murderer was Qin Feiyang's accomplice, then they would have another terrifying enemy in the future. That was because Han Zongchen, who had instantly killed 9 great commanders and massacred millions of people in such a short period of time, must possess heaven-defying strength to accomplish such a feat. This person might not be inferior to Qin Feiyang, or he might be even more terrifying than Qin Feiyang. Where are the members of the Death God army guarding Han Zongchen? The emperor asked. Dong Qingyuan sighed and said, I'm afraid something bad has happened to them. Let me see if there are any other creatures nearby. If there are, they should have witnessed the entire process of this person massacring Han Zongchen with their own eyes. The inner demon released its divine sense, which spread out in all directions. Soon, his eyes lit up. As he waved his hand, the 4 young men and women struggled and flew over uncontrollably. The emperor and the others also looked at the 4 people. The 4 people's faces were pale and they trembled. That was because they were the witnesses. Don't be afraid. These two are the Emperor of the Central Dynasty and Princess Yuxian. The inner demons comforted them. Greetings, Your Majesty, Your Highness. The four people quickly knelt in the void. Did you see that person commit the murder? Princess Yuxian asked. Yes, at that time, we happened to be training in the mountains outside the city. When we heard the commotion, we immediately rushed over to check, but we didn't expect to see this scene. It's too terrifying. In just a dozen breaths, he massacred everyone. Even the members of the Death God army did not have any power to fight back. He's a devil, the four people said intermittently. Their bodies were trembling non-stop, and their pupils were dilated. They seemed to be scared out of their wits. Chapter 4487. Unable to fight back at all. Princess Yuxian frowned. It seemed like it was another instant kill. What kind of method did this person use? The inner demons asked, how did he do it? We don't know either. We have never seen that kind of method before. However, he seems to be able to control the power of laws, and he also has the ability to seal the law, preventing us from activating the ultimate profound. The four of them trembled as they spoke. Their scalps went numb when they thought of those methods. What? Controlling the power of laws. Sealing the law. Isn't sealing the law Dong Xian's ability? It seems like only her sealed god domain can do that. The few of them were in disbelief. Lu Jiajin's eyes flashed slightly as he looked at the four of them and said, tell me the details of what happened. Okay. The four of them nodded as they recalled what happened and described the situation in detail. Activating a barrier, merging with heaven and earth, I have never heard of this before. Everyone fell into deep thought. Could it be Long Chen's god domain? The inner demons suddenly sent a message. God domain? Lu Jiajin was slightly taken aback as he thought to himself, the ability is indeed similar, but I remember that his god domain can't control the power of laws. The benefits are also the same. The inner demons mumbled. Apart from Long Chen, who else could have such a method? Lu Jiajin thought to himself, I won't think about it if I don't understand. I'll find a chance to ask my younger cousin later. Although we can't confirm this person's identity, we can be sure that he's not from the Central Dynasty. He's most likely an accomplice of Qin Feiyang. Dong Qingyuan said in a deep voice. Yes. Princess Yuxian nodded. From the bloody words left behind, they could determine the other party's position. The emperor raised his head and looked at the bloody words again. His eyes flashed with killing intent as he said coldly, this is not a negotiation, but a provocation. We must find them as soon as possible and kill them all. As his voice fell, the emperor waved his hand, and a vast emperor's aura surged out from his body and rushed toward the bloody words. I accept your challenge. Boom! With a loud bang, all the bloody words were annihilated on the spot. In the distance, Long Chen stood at the edge of a cliff and witnessed this scene with his own eyes. That was right. He did not leave. He wanted to see the emperor and the others' decision. Judging from the emperor's behavior, the so-called peace talks would never happen. Then let's slowly, wait and see. After muttering to himself, Long Chen turned around and left silently. At the same time, Lu Jiajin seemed to have sensed something and looked towards the edge of the cliff with a trace of doubt in his eyes. What is it? The inner demons were suspicious. It feels like someone is watching us. Lu Jiajin mumbled. Someone's there. The inner demons weren't the only ones who were surprised. The king and the others followed Lu Jiajin's gaze, but they saw nothing. Impossible. Just now, I used my divine sense to scan the area. Apart from these four people, there is no one else within a radius of several 100 million kilometers. The inner demons looked at Lu Jiajin. Lu Jiajin thought for a moment and said with a smile, maybe it's just my imagination. What did you say? Han Zhongcheng was also massacred. Not a single person survived. It can't be. Who the hell is this person? First, it was the family of the 9 great commanders, then the 9 great commanders themselves, and now Han Zhongcheng. Why do I feel like this person is deliberately taking revenge? As soon as the news of Han Zhongcheng being massacred spread out, it immediately set off a huge storm. Everyone was in danger. Everyone was terrified. They were afraid that the next moment, the place where they were would also be massacred. Flying Dragon City. City Lord's Mansion. Back Mountain. Father, mother, a beautiful woman in her 30s hurriedly ran into the back mountain and rushed towards a small courtyard. In the courtyard, there were 2 old people. A man and a woman. Both of them had white hair and a sorrowful expression. They were Dong Qin's biological grandfather and grandmother. Yulan. When the 2 of them heard Dong Yulan's voice, they couldn't help but look up. Seeing Dong Yulan's happy expression, a trace of suspicion arose in their hearts. What was so happy about? Father, mother. Good news. Dong Yulan landed in the courtyard, panting, and looked at the 2 elders and said. The 2 of them looked at each other and asked curiously, what good news? Not long ago, the 9 great commanders of the Death God army all died at the entrance of Imperial Capital Mountain. Han Zhongcheng also suffered a devastating blow. Not a single person survived. Dong Yulan said. What? The 2 of them suddenly stood up, their faces full of shock. They're all dead. Now, only the Emperor, Dong Hanzong, and Dong Qingyuan are left. Dong Yulan clenched her hands. She hated these people to the bone. Not only did they kill her husband, but they also wanted to murder her. If it weren't for Lu Yunfeng and his brother, she was afraid that she would have been killed by Dong Hanzong and the others. Yulan, don't talk nonsense. We know that you hate them very much now. You can kill Dong Qingyuan and Dong Hanzong, but you can't do anything to the emperor. The 2 of them hurriedly said. The emperor was not only the highest authority of the central dynasty, but also the son of the ruler of the divine kingdom. If they dared to do anything to him, they would be courting death. Don't worry. I'm not stupid enough to murder the emperor. Dong Yulan comforted. That's good. The 2 of them heaved a sigh of relief. They were afraid that Dong Yulan would be blinded by hatred. This time, was it Qiner who killed the 9 commanders and massacred Han Zhongcheng? The 2 of them asked with concern. No. This time, it was a man who did it. Dong Yulan shook her head, pondered for a while, and said with some worry, however, I can faintly feel that it should be related to Qiner. Isn't that good? Qiner has such a powerful friend. Whether it's for her or for our entire family, it's a good thing. Why are you still a little worried? The 2 of them looked at Dong Yulan in confusion. Because the worry on Dong Yulan's face was too obvious, it was hard not to notice. Father, mother, you may not know, but this person left a few lines of blood for the emperor and the others after massacring Han Zhongcheng. It mentioned the 2 realms. According to the analysis of the emperor and the others, the 2 realms refer to the Sky Cloud realm and our divine kingdom. In other words, this person is from the Sky Cloud realm, which means he is an accomplice of Qin Feiyang and the others. If this is really related to Qiner, think about it. Doesn't this mean that Qiner is colluding with Qin Feiyang and the others? Dong Yulan said in a deep voice. When the 2 of them heard this, their expressions changed drastically. If the emperor knew that Qiner was colluding with Qin Feiyang and the others, it would not be as simple as a punishment, but the whole family would be exterminated. This consequence was not something that a direct family like theirs could bear. That's why I'm worried. Moreover, Qiner was captured by Qin Feiyang and the others in the 4 great continents. Now, Qin Feiyang and the others have entered the central dynasty, and Qiner appeared with them. Moreover, she appeared in front of me unharmed. The timing is also very coincidental. She appeared not long after her father was killed. Is there no problem with this? Dong Yulan was worried. At this time, there is something strange. The two of them nodded. With the means of Qin Feiyang and the others, it was impossible for them to let any enemy go easily. And how did their granddaughter escape from the hands of these people? The most important thing was. Now, Dong Qin, who had escaped from the evil hands, did not dare to return to the Flying Dragon City. Father, mother, if, Dong Yulan looked at the two of them seriously and said in a deep voice, if Qin is really colluding with Qin Feiyang and the others, what do you think we should do? This is a serious crime. The two of them looked dignified. Dong Yulan took a deep breath and looked at the two of them, saying, do you want to hear my thoughts? Go ahead. The two of them held their breath. Qin father's death, although he is partly responsible for it, the main responsibility is still on Dong Qingyuan and the others, especially the emperor. He clearly knows that Dong Qingyuan and the others are the real culprits, but he sided with them and made Dong Cha their scapegoat. I have never been able to let go of this matter in my heart. If Qin is really colluding with Qin Feiyang and the others, I think it must be because she wants to avenge her father, and now, Dong Hanzong and the 9 commanders have indeed paid the price. So I think we should support her. Dong Yulan said. That's right. No matter what she does, she will always be our granddaughter. The two old men did not hesitate at all and nodded with firm eyes. Thank you, father, mother. However, in the face of the emperor's power, we can't do nothing. Otherwise, when Qin's matter is exposed one day, our family will be implicated. Dong Yulan said. The two of them looked at the daughter-in-law in front of them, their eyes full of gratification. Dong Cha died, this daughter-in-law not only did not abandon them, but also took on everything by herself. Yulan, in the future, do whatever you want to do, you don't have to ask us for everything, we will support you. In addition, if you don't find it tiring, you can take over the Flying Dragon City in the future and become the head of our family. The two of them said. Take over the Flying Dragon City? Dong Yulan was stunned and quickly waved her hand. How can I do that? I'm just a woman, and I married here, I'm just an outsider. When have we ever treated you as an outsider? Although you married here, in our eyes, you have always been our biological daughter. Moreover, who said that a woman can't be the head of the family? Your ability is not inferior to that unfilial son of ours. No. You are stronger than him. Because if it were you, you would definitely not get involved in the dispute between Dong Qingyuan and Lu Yunfeng. The two of them said. But the family may not agree. Especially those elders who have mastered the will of the heavens. Dong Yulan was a little hesitant. With us supporting you, what are you afraid of? Moreover, those elders who have mastered the will of the heavens are now in the 10th division of the Death God army, the remaining elders have no right to speak at all. Moreover, don't forget. You have 2 backers now, with your relationship with them, who would dare to stand up against you? The two old men laughed. These 2 backers were naturally the inner demons and Lu Jiajin. Chapter 4488. The next morning. The news that Dong Yulan was going to inherit the city lord's position spread throughout the Flying Dragon City. At first, she was opposed by many clansmen. Some said that she was a woman and did not have the ability to manage the Flying Dragon City well. There were also people who said that Dong Yulan was not a member of their clan and did not have the qualifications to inherit the position of patriarch and city lord. However, these voices of rejection were quickly calmed down. Because on the day that Dong Yulan inherited the position of patriarch and city lord, the inner demons personally led the members of the 10th squad of the Death God Legion to congratulate the Flying Dragon City. Among these members, there were all the clan elders of the first direct family clan. They all controlled the will of the heavens, and were now members of the Death God Legion. Even they supported Dong Yulan. What else did the other clansmen dare to say? Moreover, the inner demons had personally arrived to cheer Dong Yulan up. Who would dare to oppose? It went smoothly. Dong Yulan inherited the great cause and became the first female patriarch in the history of the Flying Dragon City, the female city lord. Black Tortoise Realm. Brother Long, you really amazed the world with a single brilliant feat in the tea garden. Qin Feiyang and Long Chen sat together, happily drinking tea. Who would have thought that with just Long Chen's strength, he would be able to destroy the 9 commanders and Han Zongcheng? Furthermore, he was able to calmly escape. Unfortunately, they don't know that I did it. Long Chen shook his head and laughed. Qin Feiyang laughed. What I want is this kind of mysterious feeling, to make them live in fear every day. The corner of Long Chen's mouth twitched as he laughed bitterly. You, being your enemy is truly a matter of despair. Don't talk about me, aren't you the same? Do you know that even that brat wants to kill you? Because you're already a huge threat to him. Qin Feiyang laughed. Cough cough. Long Chen coughed dryly, changed the topic, and said, this time, when I went to Imperial Capital Mountain, I coincidentally bumped into Princess Yuxian. What is it? Are you tempted? Do you want us to help you? Qin Feiyang snickered. Long Chen rolled his eyes and said speechlessly, can you stop trying to match them up? I just want to say that I feel threatened by this woman. I see. I thought you had taken a fancy to her. Qin Feiyang nodded in realization. He picked up his teacup and took a sip. He smiled faintly and said, as the beloved daughter of the emperor and the granddaughter of the ruler of the divine kingdom, how could she not have some life-saving means? In that case, we still can't make a move against her. Long Chen asked. Definitely. It's not only the Moon Immortal Princess, there's also the Emperor's wife. Although they're all very valuable people, it's not that simple to capture them. Qin Feiyang shook his head. This pair of mother and daughter, not to mention other things, definitely had the power of origin in their hands. Long Chen nodded in agreement. He sighed and said, although this trip successfully gave the Emperor and the others a show of strength, there is also a piece of bad news. Bad news? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Yes. The Divine Kingdom is much stronger than the Black Tortoise Realm. I can easily control the power of the rules of the Black Tortoise Realm. However, when I massacred Han Zongcheng, I felt that I couldn't control the power of the rules of the Divine Kingdom. At that time, I also tried to control the power of the origin of the Divine Kingdom, but I couldn't do it. I'm afraid that even if I can slightly interfere, I'll have to use all my strength. Long Chen's face was a little disappointed. Although the realm of God had evolved again, it wasn't much of a threat to the Divine Kingdom. This isn't really bad news. After all, it's within my expectations. When Long Chen went to the Imperial Capital Mountain, he had been thinking about this problem. Although Long Chen could control the power of the rules of the Black Tortoise Realm and interfere with the power of the origin of the Black Tortoise Realm, he was still a little lacking when facing the Divine Kingdom, which was stronger than the Black Tortoise Realm. But the good thing is that although the time I can control the power of rules is very short, it can still play a big role in critical moments. Long Chen smiled slightly. The disappointment on his face was instantly swept away. There was no need to worry about this kind of thing. Because it was meaningless to worry about this kind of thing. It was better to work hard and cultivate hard to bring the realm of God to a higher level. To be honest, I want to spar with you now. Qin Feiyang smiled. Then let's not. Let us continue to be in awe of each other. Long Chen chuckled. That's right. Although Long Chen's realm of God had evolved, Long Chen was still wary of Qin Feiyang in his heart. Similarly, seeing how Long Chen had become so strong, Qin Feiyang was also wary in his heart. In other words, Long Chen did not want to break the current balance. This was because once there was a victor in the sparring session, the loser might feel conflicted in his heart. At that time, it might affect the feelings and trust between the two parties. All right. Qin Feiyang nodded. Soon. Qin Feiyang suddenly received a message from Lu Jiajin. After a series of inquiries, it was really Long Chen's masterpiece. Lu Jiajin sighed for a long time before finally saying a sentence. As expected of the son of the ice dragon, his terrifying talent made people afraid. Time flew by. Another half a year passed. Boom! On this day, a powerful force of nothingness rushed out from the ancient castle. After spending more than a year, Qin Feiyang finally grasped the ultimate meaning of the law of nothingness. More than a year outside was almost 2 million years in the Black Tortoise realm. It was really a terrifying number. However, it was also worth rejoicing. Because if there was no inheritance, the time needed would be even longer. It could be tens of millions of years, or hundreds of millions of years, or even his entire life. He might not be able to comprehend an ultimate meaning. Another 2 months passed. The white-eyed wolf had also successfully grasped the seventh ultimate meaning of the strongest law. The seventh ultimate meaning he had fused was the law of light and darkness. Because the law of light and darkness was extremely rare, it could satisfy his desire to go out and show off. In the next half a year, there were many people who had grasped the will of the heavenly Tao. First, it was the demon ancestor, Mu Tianyang, Dong Zhengyang, Mu Qing, followed by the demon dragon, mermaid princess, fire lotus, and so on. Five-clawed golden dragon, big black wolf, blood Kirin, white jade Kirin, and so on. There was also Pei Tianhong, Wang Changyuan, the 6,000 secret guards, Xia Yuan, and the others. They were all working hard. However, even though they had grasped the will of the heavenly Tao, the demon ancestor and the others did not relax. They continued to comprehend the laws and fuse the inheritance. Because they all knew that in the face of the powerful divine kingdom, only by constantly working hard and becoming stronger would they have a chance to defeat them. Soon. It had been 2 years since Qin Feiyang and the others had entered the central dynasty. In 2 years, not only had Qin Feiyang and the others' strength skyrocketed, but the disciples of the sacred grounds and sacred halls were also undergoing earth-shattering changes. 2 years outside was more than 3 million years in the Black Tortoise world. One could imagine how long 3 million years was for the disciples of the sacred grounds who had just stepped into the Dominator realm. After such a long time, coupled with their hard work, their strength was definitely not the same as before. There were even many disciples of the sacred halls who had successfully fused 1 or 2 ultimate meanings of the strongest law. Of course, the Sea Lion Demon King and Ji Xiaowu outside were also growing stronger. Especially Ji Xiaowu. Even though he was managing the affairs of the city while comprehending the laws and fusing the inheritance, he had already successfully fused 1 ultimate meaning. As for the Sea Lion Demon King, who was wholeheartedly in seclusion, he was already fusing the second inheritance like Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf. Boom! On a certain evening, Thousand Demons Valley. A powerful aura erupted like a volcano. Following closely. Above the firmament, the wind and clouds surged as blood-colored tribulation clouds instantly enveloped the entire sky. What's going on? This seems to be a heavenly tribulation. What seems to be? This is a heavenly tribulation. How can someone undergo a heavenly tribulation in the Thousand Demons Valley? The Thousand Demons Valley is filled with evil energy. Even if it's a powerhouse with the heavenly Tao will, they can only last for half an hour at most. Could it be that this is a heavenly tribulation of some divine item? For example, a Dominator divine weapon. The aura of the heavenly tribulation was too powerful. The creatures near the Thousand Demons Valley immediately noticed it, and their expressions were filled with surprise. What? A heavenly tribulation appeared above the Thousand Demons Valley? How is this possible? Not to mention ordinary creatures, even people like the Emperor and Dong Qingyuan were in disbelief when they heard this news. Thousand Demons Valley. Little cousin seems to have said that madman is now in the Thousand Demons Valley. Could this heavenly tribulation be related to him? Lu Jiajin was secretly surprised. If that's the case, then we're in big trouble. The inner demon's heart sank. Madman's heavenly tribulation would definitely expose his aura. At that time, the people of the Death God army would definitely go to the Thousand Demons Valley to encircle and annihilate him. He had to face the heavenly tribulation on one hand and the threat of the Death God army on the other. Even if Madman could defy the heavens, he would probably not be able to escape death. What was going on? The ultimate profound meaning that Madman mastered was not comprehended by himself. How could he go through the heavenly tribulation? Wasn't this causing trouble? The heavenly tribulation is not something that Madman can control. It's useless to blame him. Lu Jiajin shook his head. Lu Yunfeng, Lu Yuntian, gather at the imperial palace immediately. Suddenly, Dong Qingyuan's voice sounded above the imperial capital mountain. The inner demons and Lu Yuntian looked at each other. There was no doubt that Dong Qingyuan must have summoned them to go to the Thousand Demons Valley. Lu Jiajin's eyes flashed as he looked at the inner demons and said, "Go outside and keep an eye on them. I'll send a message to my little cousin. I'm afraid he doesn't know about this yet." Okay. The inner demons nodded and walked out of the courtyard, scanning the surroundings. This was to prevent someone from spying on them. Of course. This kind of thing was not very likely now. After all, they were now the commander and deputy commander of the 10th team and were deeply trusted by the emperor. Who would dare to spy on them? However, just in case, it was never wrong to be careful. No way. A heavenly tribulation appeared in the Thousand Demons Valley. A moment later, Qin Feiyang, who was sitting cross-legged in the cultivation room, suddenly stood up and looked at Lu Jiajin in surprise. Looking at your reaction, Madman is still in the Thousand Demons Valley and the heavenly tribulation might be caused by him. Lu Jiajin sighed. Originally, he thought that Madman might have already left the Thousand Demons Valley and the sudden appearance of the heavenly tribulation had nothing to do with him. But now it seemed that this luck had been erased. Chapter 4489. Senior brother has indeed been in the Thousand Devil Valley. But I don't know if the heavenly tribulation has anything to do with him. Qin Feiyang frowned. Why would there be a heavenly tribulation all of a sudden? Could it be that senior brother relied on his own ability to comprehend an ultimate profundity? But thinking about it, it was impossible. Now, what ultimate profound inheritance didn't they have? With senior brother Crazy's personality, it was impossible for him to comprehend it himself. Wait. Could it be an epiphany? Because if it was an epiphany, this kind of change would be uncontrollable. Lu Jiajin said in a deep voice, "Hurry up and think of a way, because Dong Qingyuan has already gathered us and is preparing to go to the Thousand Devil Valley. I'll send a message to senior brother now and tell him to leave the Thousand Devil Valley quickly." Qin Feiyang's face sank slightly and said, "Send a message?" Lu Jiajin was slightly stunned and speechless. There are rules in the Thousand Devil Valley that restrict communication. Even if Long Chen's God's domain can now control the rules, he still needs to enter the Thousand Devil Valley. Heard of it? Qin Feiyang raised his eyebrows. That's it for now. Hurry up and think of a way. Although the Thousand Devil Valley is filled with evil power and can stop us from entering, it can't stop the origin power in the hands of the emperors. After Lu Jiajin finished speaking, he turned off the sound transmission god stone and walked out of the attic. He exchanged a glance with the inner demons and rushed towards the imperial palace like lightning. At the same time, Black Tortoise Realm. How could this be? Qin Feiyang clenched his hands and shouted, "White-eyed wolf, Long Chen, demon ancestor, Mu Tianyang, Mu Qing, Dong Zhengyang, Dong Qin, it's urgent, come to me quickly." Immediately, he walked out of the castle and stood in front of the castle gate, his face full of worry. Extremely urgent. What's the situation? Not only White-Eyed Wolf and the others, even the other people in seclusion were awakened by Qin Feiyang's voice. Whoosh! Almost at the same time, White-Eyed Wolf and the others landed in front of the castle, including Long Qin. What's so urgent? The White-Eyed Wolf was suspicious. The sudden appearance of the heavenly tribulation in the Myriad Demons Valley might have something to do with senior brother. Previously, Big Cousin sent me a message saying that Dong Qingyuan has already gathered everyone and is preparing to head to the Myriad Demons Valley. Let's hurry over and have a look. But for now, we don't have to all go out. White-Eyed Wolf, Long Chen, and I will go out. Mu Qing, can I trouble you to use your all-seeing eye to help me take a look at my senior martial brother's current situation, as well as the movements of Dong Qingyuan and the others? Qin Feiyang said in a deep voice. All right. Mu Qing nodded. Qin Feiyang looked at the crowd, took a deep breath, and said, Everyone, if the person who is going through the tribulation is really my senior brother, we will definitely face a fierce battle. Please be fully prepared and help me with all your strength. Don't worry. Now that we have mastered the will of the heavenly path, we are not afraid of a battle. The demon ancestor smiled. Thank you. Qin Feiyang thanked him and waved his hand, leading the White-Eyed Wolf and Long Chen to the hall of the attic outside. The Sea Lion King, who was in seclusion, immediately opened his eyes suspiciously when he sensed the aura of the three people. Change your appearance immediately and go to the Myriad Demons Valley. Qin Feiyang said. Huh? The Sea Lion King was a little surprised. Why are we going to the Myriad Demons Valley now? And all of them looked so serious. Wait. Could it be that something happened to the lunatic in the Myriad Demons Valley? He quickly got up, took the phantom elixir that Qin Feiyang gave him, and threw it into his mouth. Qin Feiyang, the White-Eyed Wolf, and Long Chen also took a phantom elixir one after another. As soon as the four of them walked out of the courtyard, they saw Ji Xiaowu running over, panting. Seeing Qin Feiyang and the others coming out, he was stunned at first, then immediately said, Qin Dage, I received a message that a heavenly tribulation suddenly appeared in the Myriad Demons Valley. I already know. Now, we are going to the Myriad Demons Valley. Qin Feiyang said. You received the news so quickly. Ji Xiaowu was stunned. He had just received the news, but how did Qin Feiyang and the others get the news before him? You can't help with this kind of thing, so don't join in the fun, stay in Green Wind City and cultivate. After Qin Feiyang said, he rushed out of the city lord mansion like lightning and rushed toward the city gate. The White-Eyed Wolf, Long Chen, and the Sea Lion King followed closely. Their eyes were quite dignified. As soon as they left the city, 5 figures rose from the city and opened the enchantment in the sky. These 5 people were all wearing the Death God Army's uniform. Obviously. They were the members of the Death God Army lurking in Green Wind City. After the 5 of them left the enchantment, they directly opened a space-time tunnel and ran in without looking back. They actually left Green Wind City. Could it be that little madman's whereabouts in the Myriad Demons Valley have been exposed? The White-Eyed Wolf frowned. It's possible. And now, we can't directly land at the entrance of the Myriad Demons Valley. Qin Feiyang's eyes flashed, and he opened a space-time tunnel. Now, there must be members of the Death God Army around the Myriad Demons Valley. If they directly landed at the entrance of the Myriad Demons Valley, it may cause unnecessary trouble. The next moment, they appeared in the sky above a mountain range. This place was tens of thousands of miles away from the Myriad Demons Valley. Tens of thousands of miles, for the current them, was nothing. It was just a matter of a few steps. In the void in front, there were already many people gathered at this time. There were humans and beasts. Their cultivation was uneven. Obviously. They all heard the news and came to watch the show. Looking at the sky above the myriad demons valley, it was indeed covered with blood clouds and thunder roaring. The power of the heavenly tribulation was rolling in all directions. This doesn't seem to be an ordinary heavenly tribulation. The white-eyed wolf was surprised. The blood clouds covered the entire sky, as if it had turned into a sea of blood. Streaks of blood-colored thunder force, like giant pythons, shuttled through the clouds. The terrifying aura it emitted was comparable to the time when Qin Fei Yang comprehended the ultimate meaning of the law of life and death. Now, we can no longer maintain this face because once we make a move, our identity as Green Wind City's foreign elders will be exposed. Long Chen secretly said. No matter what, the identity of Green Wind City's foreign elders must be kept a secret. Otherwise, Ji Xiaowu will definitely be tortured. Since we have to make a move sooner or later, we might as well restore our true appearance. Qin Fei Yang said. Okay. Long Chen and the white-eyed wolf nodded. Are we really going to make a move? The Sea Lion Beast King was a little frightened because in front of the crowd, there were many figures of the Death God Army. In the sky, there were still a large number of Death God Army members rushing over. In other words, if they made a move later, they would have to face the entire Death God Army. Look at how useless you are. At the very least, you've grasped 7 ultimate mysteries. The white-eyed wolf's face darkened. Facing the entire Death God Army, is there a difference between 6 and 7? The Sea Lion Beast King smiled bitterly. Let's go. Let's go to the forest below, activate the concealment technique, and take a closer look. Qin Fei Yang took a deep breath and led the 3 into the forest below. Seeing that there was no one around, he restored his true appearance and activated the concealment technique, hiding in the void, and flew towards the myriad demons valley ahead. Qin Fei Yang, the person undergoing the heavenly tribulation, is indeed a lunatic. Dong Qingyuan has also ordered the members of the Death God Army lurking in various cities to come to the myriad demons valley. Mu Qing's voice rang in Qin Fei Yang's mind. What about the Emperor? Qin Fei Yang asked. The Emperor is also here. In addition, the Dragon God and Kuanpeng have also brought the Monster Kings and Beast Kings to support. This time, it's not a joke. In other words, we are about to face the entire Central Dynasty. Mu Qing said in a deep voice. Qin Fei Yang's face was solemn. Even the Monster Kings of the Kuanpeng Sea region and Beast Kings of the Sky Dragon Mountain range had come. Wait. The Monster Kings of the Kuanpeng Sea region shouldn't be able to come in a short time. Suddenly, Qin Fei Yang frowned and asked. Because there were rules in the Kuanpeng Sea region, even if he gave the order immediately, it would take at least 10 days to half a month to arrive. No. Kuanpeng has already asked the 9 Monster Kings to lead all the Monster Kings to guard the coastline of the Kuanpeng Sea region. They will immediately come to the Myriad Demons Valley. Mu Qing transmitted her voice. Hearing this, Qin Fei Yang's eyes couldn't help but become gloomier. What's wrong? White-eyed wolf looked at him suspiciously. Mu Qing told me that not only the Death God Army, but also the Monster Kings of the Kuanpeng Sea region and Beast Kings of the Sky Dragon Mountain range are on their way. Qin Fei Yang thought. Hearing this, White-eyed wolf's and Long Chen's faces instantly became gloomy. The battle that was about to break out was probably the most difficult battle they had ever fought since they entered the Divine Kingdom. Especially the Sea Lion Monster King, who was trembling in fear. If it weren't for the white-eyed wolf, he would have turned around and fled. Chapter 4491. The Emperor, Dong Qingyuan, and the Death God Army were enough to make them suffer. Now, the Monster Kings and Beast Kings of the Kuanpeng Sea region and the Sky Dragon Mountain range had all come to join in the fun. Wasn't this making things worse? Although many Monster Kings of the Kuanpeng Sea region had been killed by Qin Fei Yang and the others, these losses were nothing for the entire Kuanpeng Sea region. Not to mention the Sky Dragon Mountain range. It was in its peak state. Because Qin Feiyang and the others had not fought with the Sky Dragon Mountain Range since they came to the Central Dynasty. There were 10,000 monster kings of the Kunpeng Sea region, and the beast kings of the Sky Dragon Mountain Range must be no less than that. In other words, the monster kings of the Kunpeng Sea region and the beast kings of the Sky Dragon Mountain Range were equivalent to a death god army. The road ahead was bleak. We can't ignore the life and death of Little Crazy. We have to bite the bullet. Little Qin Z, if a battle really breaks out later, we will do our best to buy time for you to open the eye of heaven and copy the ultimate profound. The white-eyed wolf said in a deep voice. It's useless. If the Emperor didn't come, we might still be able to fight our way out. But now that the Emperor has come in person and he has the origin energy in his hands, I'm afraid we only have hope if the mysterious young man comes. Qin Feiyang shook his head. He didn't care too much about the others, but the origin energy in the Emperor's hands. If, in the eyes of others, his 3,000 incarnations, the laws of life and death, and the dual wills of the heavenly Daos were a chasm that could never be crossed, an existence that could never be defeated. But in his eyes, the origin energy of the divine kingdom was a mountain that pressed down on his head. The white-eyed wolf's face became gloomier after hearing this. Soon, they entered the crowd and quietly approached the Thousand Demons Valley. However, after a while, they stopped and looked at the void in front of them, frowning. There were figures standing in the void in front of them. These people stood in a row, surrounding the Thousand Demons Valley, and at the same time, blocking the people behind them. They were the members of the Death God Army, staring at the Thousand Demons Valley with a murderous look. Crack. Boom. In the sky, the aura of the heavenly tribulation became more and more terrifying. The sound of thunder was deafening. The blood-red clouds rolled in the sky like a sea of blood. At first glance, it was as if a demon king had been born. Even though they were still some distance away from the myriad demons valley, Qin Feiyang and the others, as well as those who had come to join in the fun, could feel a deadly sense of crisis. Are we going to barge in or stay outside and wait for an opportunity? Long Chen asked. Even a madman wouldn't be able to survive such a terrifying heavenly tribulation. After all, when Qin Feiyang had comprehended the ultimate profundity of the laws of life and death, it had been with the help of the heaven-devouring beast that he had succeeded in transcending his tribulation. Stay outside and wait for an opportunity. Because now, they must think that we are also in the myriad demons valley. At that time, we can catch them off guard from behind. Qin Feiyang's eyes flickered. As long as they succeeded, they would be able to wipe out at least half of the Central Dynasty's forces. Long Chen was stunned and asked suspiciously, "Aren't you worried about the madman's safety? He is no longer the same as before." This heavenly tribulation, Qin Feiyang raised his head and looked at the rolling tribulation clouds and lightning in the sky. "I believe that with senior brother's current strength, it won't be a problem for him to transcend his tribulation alone." Although he had succeeded in transcending his tribulation with the help of the heaven-devouring beast, he hadn't grasped the will of the heavens at that time. In other words, at that time, he wasn't even 1% of his current strength. Similarly, at that time, the madman had just merged with the root of all evil. He didn't have the true body of all evil, nor the sword of all evil. Moreover, the madman had accumulated a large amount of evil energy in the Black Tortoise realm. Once this evil energy erupted, it would unleash a destructive power. Therefore, as their strength grew, the heavenly tribulation didn't pose much of a threat to them. Of course, no threat didn't mean no danger. If you didn't go all out during the tribulation, you would still die under the heavenly tribulation. Swish. As the space-time tunnels appeared, more and more members of the Death God Army appeared. Not only had they surrounded the entrance, but they had also surrounded the entire myriad Devil's Valley from all directions. In other words, now, the entire myriad Demons Valley was surrounded. No matter which direction they went, they couldn't escape. They could only fight their way out. Whine. Suddenly, another space-time tunnel opened. Several figures walked out one after another. The leader was the emperor of the Central Dynasty. Next were Princess Yuxian, Dong Qingyuan, Dong Hanzong, the inner demons, and Lu Jiajin. His Majesty, Princess Yuxian, actually came personally. And Dong Qingyuan. He is the commander of the Death God army. He has great power. But the most terrifying people are actually Dong Hanzong, Lu Yunfeng, and Lu Yuntian. Those three youngsters all possess strength that is not inferior to Qin Feiyang and the others. Especially Lu Yuntian, he is the same as Qin Feiyang. He has also comprehended the ultimate meaning of the law of life and death and grasped two wills of the heavens. He also has the Demon King true body that can compete with the 3,000 incarnations. I estimate that his strength is probably the strongest of the three. Everyone whispered in each other's ears. Their eyes were filled with respect. A middle-aged bearded man in black quickly walked in front of them and bowed respectfully. Greetings, His Majesty, Princess Yuxian, Legion Commander, Deputy Legion Commander, and the two commanders. Deputy Legion Commander. Qin Feiyang and the others looked at each other. The Emperor, Princess Yuxian, Dong Qingyuan, the inner demons, and Lu Jiajin's identity naturally didn't need to be said. But who the hell was this Deputy Legion Commander? They had never heard of it. Could it be Dong Hanzong? What's the situation? Dong Hanzong asked. The bearded man said, Deputy Legion Commander, it is indeed Madman Mo who is undergoing the tribulation in the Myriad Demons Valley. It really is him. When did he become the Deputy Legion Commander? As expected, it's different to have a good relationship with Dong Qingyuan. Qin Feiyang and the others mumbled. The Deputy Legion Commander's position in the Central Dynasty was even higher than the inner demons and Lu Jiajin. It was second only to the Emperor and Dong Qingyuan. For Dong Hanzong, it was considered to be outstanding and bring glory to his ancestors. After all, he was only a collateral family member. It was not easy for him to get to this point. But they all knew that Dong Hanzong's ambition was not just to be the Deputy Legion Commander. Perhaps one day in the future, even Dong Qingyuan, the Legion Commander, would become a stepping stone under his feet. Of course. With Dong Hanzong's strength, it was indeed not a problem for him to be the Deputy Legion Commander. After all, in terms of strength, 10 Dong Qingyuan, no. Even 100 or 1,000 Dong Qingyuan would not be a match for Dong Hanzong. At the same time, hearing the bearded man's words, the Emperor and the others raised their heads and looked at the Myriad Demons Valley. It is indeed Madman Mo's aura. Dong Qingyuan clenched his fists, and a ray of hatred suddenly shot out of his eyes. Dong Hanzong shook his head and said, but I didn't sense the aura of Qin Feiyang, the Golden-Winged Wolf King, or the Sea Lion Demon King. Why did you mention me by name? I'm just an insignificant person, won't you forget me? Long Chen, Dong Qin, which one of them isn't stronger than me? The Sea Lion Demon King was about to cry when he heard Dong Hanzong's words. He thought that an insignificant person like him would soon be forgotten by the Emperor and the others, but he did not expect that they would deliberately mention him now. What did this mean? It meant that the other party had always remembered him in their hearts. Naive. If it weren't for you, would we have been able to escape from the Kunpeng Sea region so easily? So, would they let a traitor like you go so easily? I'm afraid that in their hearts, their desire to kill you is even greater than ours. The white-eyed wolf snickered. You're still gloating. Isn't this all because of you? The Sea Lion Demon King was very depressed. Why was he so stupid to mix with these people? But then again, if he had not surrendered to Qin Feiyang and the others, he would have been deprived of his ultimate arcane and suppressed in the Black Tortoise realm like the Sea Python Demon King and the other Demon Kings. In the sky above, Dong Qingyuan looked at the Thousand Demons Valley, murderous intent flashed in his eyes, and said in a deep voice, "Your Majesty, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, give the order." "No. Wait first." The emperor waved his hand. "Wait for what?" Dong Qingyuan was taken aback. Frenzy was in the Thousand Demons Valley, and he was in the middle of his tribulation. He had no time to fight with them, so what were they waiting for? Didn't Dong Hanzong say that he didn't sense the aura of Qin Feiyang and the others? I think they are either hiding in the Thousand Demons Valley now, or they have been hiding outside. If they are really hiding outside, think about it, when they find out that Frenzy is here, how will they react? The emperor sneered secretly. Is there a need to think about it? They will definitely come to rescue Frenzy. Dong Qingyuan transmitted his voice. That's right. As long as they come to rescue Frenzy, we can take the opportunity to kill them all. Killing intent surged in the emperor's eyes. Your Majesty is wise. Dong Qingyuan flattered him, but then his expression turned cold. He frowned and said, "What if they're hiding in the Myriad Demons Valley right now and playing tricks with us? Isn't that better? It saves us the trouble of looking for them. Looking at the formation of this person's tribulation, there must be 99. After we pass the 98, no. After the 98 tribulation, he will only have one tribulation left. The duration of one tribulation is too short, and there may be changes. How about this? After he passes the 50th tribulation, regardless of whether Qin Feiyang and the others appear or not, directly kill Frenzy." The emperor transmitted his voice. "Yes." Dong Qingyuan responded respectfully, staring at the Thousand Demons Valley, and laughed sinisterly. Dong Hanzong was the same, and he sneered. "I didn't expect that even the heavens are helping us. Just you wait. Today will be your doomsday. If it wasn't for this sudden tribulation, they would probably never know that Frenzy was hiding in the Thousand Demons Valley. So, if this wasn't the heavens helping them, then what was?" Chapter 4492. Looking at their expressions, the inner demons and Lu Jiajin looked at each other and couldn't help but frown. The murderous intent of these two towards Qin Feiyang and the others was truly intense. It seemed that they should find a chance to get rid of these two. He couldn't let the 9 great commanders stay in hell all alone, could he? Moreover, as long as these two died, they might become the army commander of the Death God Army. In this way, they would be able to command the entire Death God Army. Coupled with the cooperation of Qin Feiyang and the rest, wouldn't they be able to defeat all the small teams one by one? Don't talk about it. This plan that they suddenly thought of was really not bad. However, how would Qin Feiyang and the rest get through this difficult time? If they really had no choice, they could only reveal their identity and help Qin Feiyang escape. However, by then, this plan would not be able to be carried out. Mysterious young man, the two inadvertently glanced at the crowd behind them. Qin Feiyang and the rest must be hiding in the crowd at this moment. However, they wondered if that mysterious young man had received the news. After receiving the news, would he come to help? Gotcha. Accompanied by a loud sound, the first heavenly tribulation that had been brewing for a long time finally descended. Like a blood dragon, it smashed the sky and crazily struck the Thousand Demons Valley. Hee, I really didn't expect that the evolution of the all-evil true body would actually lead to a heavenly tribulation. Suddenly, a burst of laughter sounded in the Thousand Demons Valley. It was the arrogant voice of Frenzy. Frenzy. This guy, we are almost worried to death and he can still laugh. The white-eyed wolf was indignant. Pay attention to the main point. The evolution of the all-evil true body. Long Chen stared at the Thousand Demons Valley, his eyes shining. That's right. The evolution of the all-evil true body is the main point. Qin Feiyang also nodded. The all-evil true body could actually evolve again. This was really a bit unexpected. The white-eyed wolf was stunned for a moment and finally noticed this sentence. That's right. The evolution of the all-evil true body. What was going on this time? Although the madman's body still looked like a body of flesh and blood, it had already become the true body of all evil. In other words, it was a body of flesh and blood created by the origin of all evil using the power of evil. The all-evil sword was activated because of Frenzy's all-evil true body. Even though they were as close as brothers with the madman and knew the madman's situation like the back of their hands, they knew almost nothing about the all-evil true body. Because there had never been a precedent. And there was no comparison. Therefore, they didn't know what would happen if the next evolution of the all-evil true body. What kind of new divine ability would he obtain? As long as he doesn't turn into a monster with a bloody mouth and fangs, it's fine. The white-eyed wolf laughed. The Demon King true body evolved from the power of all evil made it easy for people to associate a madman with a devil. Swish! As the madman's voice fell, a blood-red light shot into the sky and landed above the myriad demons, entering everyone's line of sight. At this moment, Frenzy's appearance was no different from before. The only difference was that the evil aura on his body was more terrifying than before. From afar, it looked like a demon god was born. You actually called so many people to surround me. You guys really think highly of me. Frenzy didn't need to look to know that Myriad Demons Valley was now surrounded. Because the members of the Death God army surrounding Myriad Demons Valley didn't hide their auras at all. Humph. Dong Qingyuan snorted and silently looked at Frenzy's arrogance. In any case, he couldn't be arrogant for long. Heavenly tribulation. Frenzy ignored the Emperor and the others and looked up at the roaring heavenly tribulation in the sky. What can a mere heavenly tribulation do to me? As the corner of his mouth lifted, his blood hair danced in the wind, revealing a monstrous domineering aura. Clang! The next moment. He raised his hand and grabbed at the air, and the all-evil sword immediately appeared out of thin air. Its sharpness immediately swept in all directions and surged outwards like a tide. Everywhere it went, the void shattered crazily. The mountains and rivers of Myriad Demons Valley were also collapsing. It was like a scene of doomsday. What is this? For many creatures, it was the first time they saw the all-evil true body. Feeling the sharpness of the all-evil true body and the sense of danger coming from it, they all revealed a look of horror. Seal the Myriad Demons Valley. The Emperor said. Yes. Dong Qingyuan nodded and roared, seal the Myriad Demons Valley for me. The 10 small teams of the Death God army had basically all arrived. There were a total of about 88,000 people. Because there were only about 1,000 Will of Heaven powerhouses left in the 10th team. Later, Lu Jiajin and the Inner Demons recruited another 1,000 people. Now there were about 3,000 people. And the first team only had 5,000 people. However, these 5,000 people had mastered all the ultimate profoundness except for the laws of life and death and the laws of light and darkness. They were the elites of the elites. With Dong Qingyuan's order, a terrifying divine aura suddenly erupted around Myriad Demons Valley. Immediately after, waves of law power emerged. These law power contained the will of heaven that could intimidate all directions. All the laws gathered together and condensed into a barrier around Myriad Demons Valley. Not only did it seal all the exits of Myriad Demons Valley, it also blocked the aura of the heavenly tribulation and the all-evil sword. Otherwise, with the power of the heavenly tribulation and the all-evil sword, they could flatten a radius of hundreds of millions of miles in minutes. At that time, who knew how many creatures would be affected? In the blink of an eye. The madman waved his hand and the all-evil sword erupted with a wave of sword chi. Like a blood-colored wave, it crazily surged into the sky and collided with the heavenly tribulation. A scene that made everyone turn pale with fright appeared. Such a terrifying heavenly tribulation was actually unable to block the sword chi of the all-evil sword and was crushed into pieces. Damn! Even Qin Feiyang, the white-eyed wolf, and Long Chen were dumbfounded. This heavenly tribulation was not weak. However, the all-evil sword was easily crushed. Not only that. The madman had yet to inject the power of all evil into the all-evil sword. Because the more power of all evil was injected into the all-evil sword, the stronger its lethality. In other words, right now, the all-evil sword was only relying on its own power. Its own power could contend against the heavenly tribulation. As expected. Everything was no longer the same as before. Back then, Qin Feiyang hadn't grasped the will of the heavenly Tao, so he needed to replicate thousands upon thousands of ultimate profundities in order to successfully block one heavenly tribulation after another. And now, the madman was invincible just by relying on the sword of all evil. It is indeed strong. Seeing this scene, even Princess Moon Fairy was unable to remain calm. This method was truly unheard of. The only ones that could compete with the all-evil sword were probably Lu Yuntian's Demon King True Body and Dong Hanzong's Universe Domain. Of course, and also her Divine Kingdom's Origin Energy. More and more people came after hearing the news. But without exception, looking at the all-evil sword in the madman's hand, they couldn't help but be dumbfounded. In the sky above the Thousand Demons Valley, other than the deafening thunder, it was dead silent. Boom! The second heavenly tribulation also fell. The madman laughed and once again slashed back. The sword chi roared in the sky, emitting an extremely terrifying fiendish aura. The second heavenly tribulation was shattered just like that. What? How is this possible? A cry of surprise sounded. The Emperor and the others raised their heads and saw that in the sky, space-time channels opened one after another, and groups of people kept pouring out. The aura they exuded was like a vast ocean, unfathomable. And the ones in the lead were the Dragon God and Kuan Peng. There was no suspense. They were the Beast Kings of the Kuan Peng Sea region and Sky Dragon Mountain Range, the Beast Kings. Close to 20,000. Vast and mighty, the aura was shocking. And the ones who exclaimed were the Dragon God and Kuan Peng. Could it be that their eyes were playing tricks on them? Such a terrifying heavenly tribulation was actually shattered by this person's sword. Crack! The third heavenly tribulation also fell. Just like before, the madman directly shattered it with a sword. The terrifying heavenly tribulation was like a withered tree under his sword, unable to withstand a single blow. What kind of method is this? He's too ridiculously strong. The various monster kings and beast kings were also shocked. Facing this heavenly tribulation, as soon as they descended here, they immediately felt a fatal threat, but this madman Mo actually shattered it so effortlessly. Seeing is believing, hearing is false, this saying was not false at all. In the past, when they heard the name of the madman, they didn't think that it was a big deal. The rumors outside must have been exaggerated. Only now that they saw it with their own eyes did they know how terrifying this person was. Your Majesty, why don't you kill him? Although I don't know why he's going through the heavenly tribulation, but with such a shocking heavenly tribulation, once he succeeds, there will definitely be an earth-shattering change. This person must be killed in the cradle. Kuan Peng and the Dragon God came back to their senses and landed in front of the Emperor, saying with a solemn expression. Not to mention a group of monster kings and beast kings, even the two of them who had a pinnacle dominator divine weapon could feel the danger brought by the heavenly tribulation. But the madman under the heavenly tribulation was relaxed and at ease. The difference in strength was instantly reflected. No rush. The heavenly tribulation will become more and more terrifying. Moreover, Qin Feiyang and the others have not appeared yet. The Emperor secretly told the two of his plan. So that's how it is. The evolution of the all-evil true body. His all-evil sword is already so strong, if it evolves again, what kind of ability will it have? To be honest, they were looking forward to it. However, an enemy was an enemy after all. Disperse immediately and assist the Death God army to surround the Thousand Demons Valley. The two of them ordered. Yes. Immediately. The more than 9,000 monster kings of the Kunpeng Sea region left murderously under the lead of the 9 monster emperors. The beast kings of the Sky Dragon Mountain range also rushed in all directions under the lead of the monster emperors. Did you notice that the Sky Dragon Mountain range also has 10 monster emperors? As for the beast kings, there are about 10,000 of them. Qin Feiyang transmitted his voice as he glanced at the monster emperors and beast kings, his eyes flashing. They can't be underestimated. Long Chen secretly said. The emperor, Princess Yuxian, Dong Qingyuan, Dong Hanzong, Kunpeng, Dragon God, the Death God army, monster kings, beast kings. Moreover, the emperor had a legendary dominator divine weapon in his hand, the emperor's sword. Kunpeng and Dragon God also had pinnacle dominator divine weapons. As for Princess Yuxian, as the beloved daughter of the emperor and the granddaughter of the dominator of the divine kingdom, she must have a lot of divine items in her hands. Just thinking about it made the situation worrisome. Chapter 4493. With the arrival of the Beast King of the Sky Dragon Mountain Range and the Monster King of the Kunpeng Sea region, almost all the experts of the Central Dynasty, except for the top 10 direct descendants, had arrived. At the same time, the experts of the top 10 direct descendants were also arranging the affairs of the clan and were about to rush over. Once they arrived, all the experts of the Central Dynasties will of Heavenly Tao would be present. In other words, once the battle began, the battle between Qin Feiyang and the Central Dynasty would erupt. Boom! The fifth, the sixth, one after another, the heavenly tribulation continued to fall. Without using any other means, the madman used the all-evil sword to successfully pass the 30th tribulation. It was truly heaven-defying. However, when it came to the 31st tribulation, the lethality of the all-evil sword began to weaken. When the 35th tribulation descended, the all-evil sword was no longer able to block the power of the tribulation. The blood wave-like sword Qi was instantly annihilated. It seems that we don't even need to make a move, he will die under the tribulation. Seeing this scene, Dong Hanzong couldn't help but laugh. This was only the 35th tribulation and the all-evil sword couldn't withstand it. How could he succeed? Because there were still 64 tribulation behind. And the last tribulation was the sum of the previous 98 tribulation. To be honest, when Qin Feiyang was crossing the tribulation, if it wasn't for the help of the small beast, it was really unknown whether he could successfully pass the last tribulation. That's right. I'm afraid he can't even hold on to the 50th tribulation. Dong Qingyuan also nodded. If this continued, if Qin Feiyang and the others didn't make a move, this person would undoubtedly die. Pay attention. Qin Feiyang and the others may make a move at any time. As long as they appear, don't talk nonsense and directly attack. The emperor's voice suddenly sounded in the minds of Dong Qingyuan, Dong Hanzong, Kunpeng, Dragon God, Princess Yuxian, and the inner demons. Yes. The group of people secretly responded. Little cousin, this time, how are you going to break the situation? Lu Jiajin glanced at the crowd and muttered secretly. It could be said that this time, the situation was even more dangerous than the last time in Hanzong City. Last time, Dong Qingyuan, Princess Yuxian, the Dragon God, Kunpeng, and the Death God army's 1st to 7th teams were all absent. Moreover, at that time, Dong Hanzong had also been severely injured. His physical body had been destroyed, and only his divine soul was left. But it was different this time. Everyone was in peak condition. All the small teams had also arrived. Even the Beast Kings and Demon Kings of the Kunpeng Sea region and the Sky Dragon Mountain range had come. Whine. Suddenly, more space-time passages opened. More than 3,000 people surged out. They were the will of the heavens powerhouses of the 10 great direct descendant clans. Now, all the experts of the central dynasty's will of heavenly Tao were present. In total, there should be around 120,000. With such a lineup, they could kill any god or devil that stood in their way. One could imagine how dangerous the situation was for Qin Feiyang and the others. We definitely won't be able to fight them head-on. We can only kill them when they least expect it. That's why we have to endure it for now. We must not expose our whereabouts. Long Chen secretly warned. However, just as he finished speaking, he noticed the expressions of Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf. He couldn't help but be stunned. He thought that the two of them would be impulsive when they saw that the madman was defeated by the heavenly tribulation. But now, the two of them looked extremely calm and didn't have the slightest intention to make a move. Stop joking. Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf would make a move. Definitely not. Because now, the all-evil sword was just in its initial state. In other words, the madman hadn't injected the power of all evil into it yet. Once the power of all evil was injected, the lethality of the all-evil sword would increase exponentially. Dealing with a mere heavenly tribulation would be a piece of cake. A mere heavenly tribulation. If these words were heard by the people around, their jaws would probably drop. Because in their eyes, no. Even in the eyes of the members of the Death God army, this heavenly tribulation could only be described as terrifying. It's almost over. Don't force yourself. Hurry up and die. Don't expect Qin Feiyang and the others to come and save you. All the will of heaven powerhouses in our central dynasty are here now. Even if they are hiding here, they won't dare to come out and help you. Looking at the madman who was bitterly holding on, Dong Hanzong couldn't help but sneer. The inner demons and Lu Jiajin glanced at Dong Hanzong. He was really a qualified clown. Above the Thousand Demons Valley. The madman had already welcomed the 38th heavenly tribulation. At this moment, his body was covered in wounds and blood was pouring out like a waterfall. The all-evil sword was also covered in cracks and was on the verge of shattering. Suddenly, he looked up at Dong Hanzong and grinned, "You want me to die so badly?" Dong Hanzong raised his eyebrows. "You can still smile." Pretending to be calm. "Why don't we make a bet?" The madman laughed. Looking at the madman's current appearance, Dong Hanzong's brows tightened. Why does he look so fearless? Let's bet on whether I can safely pass the heavenly tribulation. If I pass it safely, you'll kneel in front of me and be my obedient grandson. If I fail, I'll call you grandpa before I die. Do you dare? The madman looked at him provocatively. Childish. Dong Hanzong sneered. Was there a need to bet on a person who was going to die? You don't dare. You don't even have the guts. It seems that you're not that great. Look at yourself. There are so many eyes watching. Aren't you afraid that they'll laugh at you in the future? You don't even dare to accept the challenge of a person who's going to die. The madman continued to mock, making Dong Hanzong's face turn green and red. He looked at the members of the Death God army, the Beast Kings, and the Fey Kings. These people didn't have any reaction and their eyes were fixed on the madman. However, the gazes of the living beings behind him, who had come to join in the fun, became a little unfathomable. Lu Jiajin's eyes flashed. He suddenly looked at Xinmo and smiled faintly. Brother, did you see that? This is a lesson. Don't talk nonsense. Otherwise, you might just be asking for humiliation. Who are you talking about? Dong Hanzong immediately turned around and stared at Lu Jiajin. What? You want to eat people? The inner demons stepped in front of Lu Jiajin and looked at Dong Hanzong with a cold light in his eyes. Dong Hanzong's face was dark. If you don't have the guts to fight, then you'd better behave. Don't act like an idiot. Others might be afraid of you, but we're not afraid at all. The inner demon sneered and looked at Lu Jiajin. He nodded seriously and said, "Brother, remember. Don't worry. I won't be like some idiot and ask for humiliation." Dong Hanzong clenched his fists and his knuckles cracked. "If you're not convinced, then you can bet with him. Why are you glaring at us? We didn't provoke you. You're the one who provoked that madman. Anyway, don't talk if you don't have the guts. You're embarrassing yourself." The inner demons shook his head and then looked at Princess Moon Fairy with a smile. "Little girl, what do you think?" "Little girl?" Princess Moon Fairy's mouth twitched. In the entire Central Dynasty, only this guy dared to be so impudent in front of her. However, this Dong Hanzong was indeed stupid. He knew that the madman wasn't a good person, but he still went to provoke him. Sigh. His talent was indeed good, but his brain wasn't that good. He only had a few tricks up his sleeves. In terms of wisdom, this guy was nowhere near it. Seeing the inner demons calling Princess Moon Fairy so intimately and the princess not showing any disgust or rejection, Dong Hanzong's heart was filled with jealousy. Looking at the princess's eyes, which contained a hint of disdain, he was instantly enraged. "Let's bet." He stared at the madman who was trying his best to resist the tribulation and roared. "Even if you can withstand the first 50 tribulation, the emperor will order you to be killed. So you can't pass the tribulation." In other words, he was already confident in winning this bet. He definitely couldn't lose. The madman used all his strength and finally defeated the 39th tribulation. The 10,000 evil sword finally reached its limit and broke into pieces. The madman was in an extremely sorry state. However, as if he didn't know any of this, he turned his head to look at Dong Hanzong and laughed. "It seems that I have underestimated you." Dong Hanzong smiled coldly. "However, grandson, you are destined to lose to me. What's a mere tribulation?" The madman looked at the sky domineeringly. "A mere tribulation? He has already fallen to this point, but he is still so arrogant. He is really hopeless." The surrounding creatures were all enraged by the madman's arrogance. In their eyes, the madman was simply asking for a beating. What's going on? He has clearly reached his limit, but how can he still be so arrogant? And Qin Feiyang and the Golden-Winged Wolf King still haven't appeared. Do they believe in the madman's ability, or are they not in the 10,000 Demons Valley at all and don't know about the madman's tribulation? The emperor cursed silently. He couldn't help but turn his head and sweep his gaze at the crowd behind him. Right now, the void behind them could only be described as a sea of people. Because there were too many. Humans, beasts, and even some sea beasts that came from afar. Not only the void behind them, but the mountains and rivers in all directions of the 10,000 Demons Valley were also filled with people. With so many people, and if Qin Feiyang and the others deliberately hid their identities and changed their appearances, it would be like looking for a needle in a haystack. No. They are alone. It should be impossible for them to separate. That's right. This Qin Feiyang and the Golden-Winged Wolf King must also be in the 10,000 Demons Valley. The emperor once again looked at the 10,000 Demons Valley. In fact, his analysis was very reasonable. Logically speaking, no matter who it was, as long as they were enemies of the Central Dynasty, they would definitely choose to stay together. Because if they stayed together, they could take care of each other and wouldn't be alone in the face of the enemy. However, the emperor didn't know that Qin Feiyang and the others had never played by the rules. If you inferred according to common sense, you would suffer a great loss in the end. Boom! Crack! The 40th heavenly tribulation descended. This power was enough to instantly kill any powerhouse with heavenly will in the world. Go to hell! Dong Hanzong roared in his heart. You are already exhausted, and the 10,000 demons' sword is broken. What are you still holding on for? It's meaningless. Chapter 44-94. However, seeing that the madman was about to die under the heavenly tribulation, Dong Hanzong was already prepared to celebrate. But at this moment, the power of all evil appeared and the broken all-evil sword quickly reformed. How could this be? The joy in Dong Hanzong's eyes instantly disappeared and was replaced by disbelief. Ha! The madman bared his teeth. The power of all evil continued to pour into the all-evil sword. The aura of the all-evil sword instantly soared to a new level. If before, the lethality of the all-evil sword was equivalent to a low-level dominator weapon, now it was equivalent to a mid-level dominator weapon. Of course, the power of the all-evil sword was definitely not something a low-level or mid-level dominator weapon could compare to. It was just a metaphor. Moreover, with the appearance of the power of all evil, the injuries on the madman's body were recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. He was the true body of all evil. Therefore, the power of all evil could not only help him kill his enemies, but it could also help him recover from his injuries. In layman's terms, the power of all evil was equivalent to a great tonic for him. Clang! With the increase in lethality, the madman swung his sword at the heavenly tribulation. Sword chi swept out in all directions and with a loud bang, the heavenly tribulation shattered. The injuries on his body were also completely healed. The previous weakness and wretchedness were all gone and he seemed to be full of energy. How could this be? Dong Hanzong's eyes trembled. He had clearly reached his limit before, so why did he recover to his peak state so quickly? Not only did he recover to his peak state, even the power of the all-evil sword had increased by so much. It was completely beyond common sense. The source of all evil, the true body of all evil, the power of all evil. In the past, I have only read about the source of all evil in ancient books, but I didn't expect it to be true. And it is even more terrifying than what was recorded in the ancient books. Princess Moon Fairy muttered. The source of all evil was the root of all evil. This was an extremely terrifying power. Because in this world, the power of evil was everywhere. It was also because of the terror of the source of all evil that no one had been able to control this power since ancient times. Because they couldn't withstand the corrosion of the evil aura. The evil aura would corrode a person's soul and intelligence, turning them into an evil puppet. It was equivalent to a puppet that had lost its soul and consciousness. But now, someone had actually merged with the source of all evil and successfully controlled this power. Moreover, he had even comprehended such a terrifying killing technique. The power of the all-evil sword was so strong that it made people tremble. No. The all-evil sword is not a killing technique that he comprehended. The emperor shook his head. Ah! Princess Yuxian looked at him in shock. Fusing with the origin of all evil is actually only the first step. The second step is to create the true body of all evil. However, this requires a certain amount of opportunity and luck. Obviously, Madman Mo has this opportunity and luck. He successfully created the all-evil true body, and the all-evil sword appeared along with the all-evil true body. To put it simply, the all-evil sword is the all-evil true body's innate ability. The emperor explained. Princess Yuxian asked, "Are you saying that as long as I can create the all-evil true body, I can directly create the all-evil sword and control it?" "That's right." However, the emperor nodded. Then, a look of disbelief crept onto his face. But what? Princess Moon Fairy was suspicious. Something that could make her father feel disbelief was definitely not simple. Although I know the situation of the origin of all evil better than you, I never thought that the power of all evil could increase the power of the all-evil sword. According to my observation, it should be able to increase the power endlessly. The emperor said in a deep voice. Increase the power endlessly. Princess Yuxian's beautiful eyes widened. Didn't this mean that the more evil energy there was, the more lethality of the all-evil sword would increase? That's right. As long as there's evil energy in the world, the power of the all-evil sword will continue to increase. Moreover, with the all-evil true body, he can store the evil energy in the outside world in his body. When it's time to kill the enemy, he can instantly unleash it. By doing this, he can not only increase his combat power, but he can also catch the enemy off guard. The emperor said with a serious expression. If it wasn't for the fact that he had the power of origin in his hands, even he would have to retreat when facing Madman. Although he also had a legendary sovereign weapon, it was still lacking compared to the all-evil sword. Your Majesty. Suddenly, a skinny middle-aged man rushed to the emperor's side. He was wearing the uniform of the Death God army and bowed. Again. The emperor looked at him suspiciously. As a member of the Death God army, this person naturally had the will of the heavens. The emperor had some impression of this person, but he couldn't recall who it was. Dong Han, what are you doing? The inner demons raised his eyebrows and looked at the skinny middle-aged man unhappily. Dong Han. Princess Yuxian paused for a moment. She looked at Dong Han for a moment and said, "You seem to be from the second family. I didn't expect your Majesty to remember this lowly one." Dong Han said with a flattered look on his face. "I have some impression of you." Princess Yuxian smiled faintly. Dong Han, why did you suddenly run over here? What do you want? The inner demon's expression became more and more unsatisfied. Commander, please calm down. Dong Han's expression was slightly flustered. He had just joined the 10th team of the Death God army. The inner demons, Lu Jiajin, was his immediate superior. Seeing his superior get angry, especially when it was the inner demons, how could he not be flustered? If you have something to say it quickly. Don't dawdle. The inner demon's expression was impatient. This person suddenly ran over. What did he want to say? Yes. Dong Han nodded respectfully. He looked at the inner demons and said, "Commander, you must know that I brought my people to the 4 great continents a few years ago." Of course I know. It's hard not to know such a big thing. You naively went to the 4 great continents to take advantage of the situation. But in the end, you were hunted down by Qin Feiyang and the others. You were almost wiped out. The inner demons mocked. Hearing the inner demon's words, Dong Han was a little embarrassed. He sighed and said, "That's true. But at the 4 great continents, we saw something unbelievable." What is it? The inner demons was stunned and looked at him curiously. It's called lunatic. At that time, Qin Feiyang, Madman Mo, and the Golden-Winged Wolf King went to find trouble with Boss Ji and the others. I don't know if they wanted to kill them or subdue them. After all, the old antiques of the Purple Gold Divine Dragon clan are very powerful. If they can be subdued, they will become a terrifying force that can't be ignored by Qin Feiyang and the others. At that time, Madman Mo and Ji Laoshi had a bloody battle. And I saw that battle with my own eyes. Dong Han said. A bloody battle? The Emperor, Dong Qingyuan, Dong Hanzong, and Princess Yuxian were slightly stunned. They quickly asked, what was the result? Lunatic lost miserably. Dong Han said. As expected. Lu Jiajin smiled faintly. After all, these old men had mastered at least 7 ultimate profound meanings and 3,000 incarnations. No matter how strong the lunatic was or how terrifying the all-evil sword was, it was impossible for him to defeat them. However, although the madman was defeated, the methods and strength he displayed at that time can only be described as peerlessly terrifying. Dong Han's eyes trembled. Every time he thought of the battle between the lunatic and Boss Ji, he couldn't help but feel fear. What do you mean? Princess Yuxian frowned. An expert with the will of the heavens was scared to this extent. Of course, she didn't doubt Dong Han's courage. After all, as an expert with the will of the heavens, how could he not have the courage? The only reason was that the lunatic's means had exceeded Dong Han's tolerance. In other words, it had left a shadow in Dong Han's heart. At that time, he also used his trump card, the all-evil sword. The situation at the beginning was the same as now. Although it was very powerful, it wasn't to the point of being heaven-defying. But as Ji Laoshi activated 3,000 incarnations, the lunatic's all-evil sword also became crazily stronger. Speaking up to here, Dong Han swallowed his saliva and said in horror, "You will never know how many ultimate profound meanings he shattered with his last sword." How many? Dong Han frowned. He desperately wanted to know the answer to this question. 10,000. Dong Han raised a finger. What? 10,000 ultimate profound meanings? Dong Han's body and mind trembled, and his eyes were filled with disbelief. The Emperor, Dong Qingyuan, and Princess Yu Xian were also shocked to the extreme. One had to know. Ji Laoshi was an expert with the will of the heavens, and each of his ultimate profound meanings contained the will of the heavens. How terrifying was it to shatter 10,000 ultimate profound meanings with one sword? If it wasn't for Dong Han saying it, and if they didn't know that Dong Han wouldn't dare to lie in front of them, they wouldn't dare to believe it. Dong Qingyuan said in a deep voice, "Why didn't you tell us such an important thing before? I thought you knew. Because you and the deputy army commander have fought with them in the 4 great continents. But before, I saw your reaction, you didn't seem to know about this, so I immediately came to tell you." Dong Han said. Dong Qingyuan and Dong Han looked at each other. They really didn't know about this. Although the mad scientist had opened the all-evil sword when they were in the 4 great continents, he didn't inject the power of all evil into it. So, they thought that the all-evil sword they saw at that time was the strongest state of the all-evil sword. But they didn't expect. The true strongest state of the all-evil sword was an endless increase in power. "Your Majesty, please give the order to kill him immediately. If we don't kill this person, there will be endless trouble in the future." Dong Qingyuan immediately looked at the emperor and shouted. The emperor looked at the mad scientist who was undergoing the tribulation, with a hint of killing intent in his eyes. Although the tribulation was getting stronger and stronger, it couldn't cause any damage to the mad scientist at all. Because the all-evil sword in his hand was emitting a terrifying aura. What a busybody! The inner demons and Lu Jiajin glanced at Dong Han with a hint of killing intent in their eyes. It was better to get rid of this busybody as soon as possible. Chapter 4495. So he has the confidence to win. Dong Hanzong stared at Madman, his hands tightly clenched together. He originally thought that Madman would die under the heavenly tribulation before the 50th tribulation. Because at that time, Madman was indeed in a sorry state. But he never thought that Madman still had such a trump card. If nothing unexpected happened, relying on the powerful all-evil sword, he could really succeed in passing the tribulation. At that time, wouldn't he have to kneel down in front of everyone and call Madman Grandpa? No. This kind of thing was absolutely not allowed to happen. He also quickly looked at the emperor and bowed, "Your Majesty, please give the order." He had to kill Madman before he succeeded in passing the tribulation. Otherwise, at that time, he would be the one to lose face. Don't worry, it's already the 49th tribulation, one more tribulation away from the 50th tribulation. The emperor waved his hand. Kill, he definitely had to kill. If Madman didn't kill him, he would be able to suppress everyone with his strength alone. Such a threat was not inferior to Qin Feiyang. But it wasn't easy to find such a good opportunity. If he didn't kill Qin Feiyang, White-Eyed Wolf, and Madman in one fell swoop, he would be a bit unwilling. Gotcha. The 50th tribulation finally fell. Its power was many times stronger than the first tribulation. Because at this level of tribulation, the lethality of each tribulation would increase exponentially. But The all-evil sword in Madman's hand, with the continuous infusion of the all-evil sword, its lethality had soared to an extremely terrifying level. Damn heaven, you can't do anything to me. Madman looked at the tribulation and laughed wildly, the all-evil sword crazily slashing down. Boom! The heavenly tribulation that was powerful enough to destroy everything was destroyed by the all-evil sword just like that. It was as easy as blowing off dust. The lethality of his sword is estimated to be able to shatter 2,000 to 3,000 ultimate mysteries. Princess Moon Fairy murmured. He was ridiculously strong. If there was no origin force, no death god army encirclement, who could be this person's opponent? It could be said that, apart from Dong Hanzong and the Lu Yintian brothers, no one could fight with him. He hasn't appeared yet. You weren't here when I first arrived. Fine, I'll kill Madman first. As your good brothers, I'm sure you'll be very sad to hear about Madman's death. The Emperor murmured. A wisp of killing intent suddenly flashed in his eyes as he shouted, "Kill this person." His voice was like a great bell, resounding in all directions. Seeing that the Emperor had finally given the order, Dong Qingyuan and Dong Hanzong could not help but become spirited. They took a step forward and landed in the void in front of them, instantly activating their ultimate skills. Following closely, the members of the Death God army surrounding the Myriad Demons Valley, the Monster Kings of the Kunping Sea region, the Beast Kings of the Sky Dragon Mountain Range, and the thousands of people of the 10 lineal families also stepped forward and activated their ultimate profound. Nearly 120,000 powerhouses of the will of the Heavenly Tao simultaneously activated their ultimate profundities. Can you imagine what kind of scene that would be? Even if each of them had only grasped 6 ultimate mysteries, that would still be over 700,000 ultimate mysteries. Such a terrifying reality was probably enough to kill anyone in the world except for the sovereign of the Divine Kingdom, the Ice Dragon, and the Heaven-devouring Beast. What should we do? The inner demons raised their eyebrows and asked telepathically. Hold back for now. Lu Jiajin's eyes flashed slightly as he glanced at the crowd. Don't look. I've already sensed the location of the Emperor as soon as I arrived here. He's not far behind us. He must have activated the concealment technique, so we can't see him. The inner demons thought. Hearing this, Lu Jiajin withdrew his gaze and smiled secretly. Then let's go and pretend. The Emperor is not a fool. How can we fool him by pretending? If we don't want the Emperor to be suspicious, we have to go all out. The inner demons glanced at the Emperor and sneered secretly. Then, together with Lu Jiajin, they landed beside Dong Qingyuan and Dong Hanzong. Boom! The ultimate skill was activated. The aura rolled in all directions. Dong Qingyuan turned to look at the inner demons with a trace of doubt in his eyes. What are you looking at? Am I someone you can look at? Don't think that the grudge between us is over. After we kill Qin Feiyang and the others, we will slowly settle the score with you. You'd better pray that the Emperor will protect you for the rest of your life. The inner demons smiled coldly. Dong Qingyuan's pupils shrank. Dong Hanzong said expressionlessly, "Don't talk nonsense. Hurry up and activate your Demon King true body. The ultimate skill of the law of life and death, dual will of heaven. Are you teaching me how to do things? Do you think you can run away when the time comes? Blazing Flame Mountain plotted against us. Sooner or later, you will pay the price for it." The inner demon sneered. Hearing this, Dong Hanzong couldn't help but clench his fists. A trace of hostility flashed between his eyebrows. But to be honest, although Qin Feiyang and the others are our enemies, I am a little grateful to them because they slaughtered Han Zongcheng. The inner demons looked at Dong Hanzong mockingly. Have you said enough? Dong Hanzong growled. The hatred and anger that he had suppressed with great difficulty were instantly ignited. What are you doing? The Emperor frowned and glared at the two. Nothing. Just to get in touch with him. The inner demons bared their teeth. The emperor's mouth twitched. Do you think I'm deaf? You said so loudly that I can't hear you. To be honest. He had a love-hate relationship with his inner demons. He liked the inner demon's talent, ability, and means. What he hated was the inner demon's personality. They were too arrogant and domineering. Not to mention Dong Hanzong and Dong Qingyuan, even he, the emperor of the Central Dynasty, might not be in his eyes. Hey! Madman Mo, although this is a little unfair, there is no other way. We don't dare to disobey His Majesty's order. The inner demons looked at the madman who was standing in the sky above the myriad demons' valley, facing the 51st tribulation, and laughed. The madman shattered the tribulation with a casual swing of his sword. He turned to look at the inner demons and laughed, "It's okay, bring it on." Still so arrogant. The inner demons was slightly stunned and joked, "Do you still not understand your current situation?" "I'm not stupid. How can I not understand? But I believe that I won't die." The madman laughed. "It's good to be confident, but too much confidence will cost you your life." The inner demon's blood boiled as the Demon King True Body appeared. It was 10,000 feet tall and emitted a murderous aura. From afar, it looked like a group of terrifying demon kings had descended. This is Lu Yuntian's Demon King True Body. It's really strong. It said that this Demon King True Body is the only way to fight against Qin Feiyang's 3,000 avatars. And it was comprehended by Lu Yuntian himself. In terms of talent, this person deserves to be number one. Even Dong Hanzong is far inferior to him. The crowd at the back who had come to watch the show revealed looks of admiration when they saw this scene. Dong Hanzong's universe domain was indeed heaven-defying, but it was innate. But the Demon King True Body was different. The Demon King True Body was comprehended by Lu Yuntian through his own efforts. This was the difference between the two. With Lu Yuntian here, the madman will definitely die. After all, he alone is equivalent to 3,000 people's combat power. You're wrong. Not only does he have the combat power of 3,000 people, he also has the ultimate meaning of the law of life and death and has mastered two will of heaven. As expected. The next moment. The ultimate meaning of the law of life and death, the kingdom of life and death, appeared out of nowhere. The eruption of two wills of heaven instantly made the inner demons the focus of the entire city. Because his strength and aura were too terrifying. It was as if there was nothing that couldn't be done with him. If only his character was better, it would be even more perfect, Princess Yuxian murmured. At the end of her sentence, a smile appeared on her peerless face. If one looked carefully, her cheeks seemed to be slightly red, giving her a different kind of charm. Chapter 4496. Kill. Dong Qingyuan's sudden roar resounded through the sky. He had been waiting for this moment for a long time and could no longer hold back the killing intent in his heart. Whether it was the people at the entrance or the members of the Death God army, they all heard Dong Qingyuan's roar at this moment. Rumble. Ultimate profoundness that filled the sky immediately charged towards the sky above the Thousand Demons Valley from all directions. One must know. At this moment, not only the entrance of the Thousand Demons Valley, but even the other directions had been blocked. In short, the entire Thousand Demons Valley was surrounded by members of the Death God army. Even a fly would not be able to fly in. Haha, more than 700,000 ultimate profoundness that contains the will of the heavenly Tao. You guys really think highly of me. I can't let you guys down. Lunatic laughed wildly. He knew that Qin Feiyang and the rest must be hiding in the dark, waiting for an opportunity to strike. This was the trust between brothers. Although they did not see Qin Feiyang and the rest from the beginning to the end, they still believed in it. So now, what he needed to do was to attract everyone's attention. It was equivalent to attracting everyone's attention on him, thus creating an opportunity for Qin Feiyang and the rest to launch a surprise attack. Boom! The power of all evil was injected into the all-evil sword. The all-evil sword not only trembled but also made clanging sounds as if it had absorbed a large amount of power of all evil, making it unusually excited. No matter how many come, I'll kill them all. At this moment, Lunatic seemed to be possessed as he waved the all-evil sword crazily. Numerous strands of sword chi were like a torrent that had broken through a dam. They shattered the sky and surged towards the ultimate profundities that were charging towards him from all directions. Although it was only sword chi, its sharpness was still peerless. Accompanied by a deafening loud sound, waves of ultimate profoundness were constantly annihilated. Countless living beings were dumbfounded by this scene. There were so many ultimate profoundness and they all contained the will of the heavenly Tao. However, the all-evil sword seemed to have an indestructible power. Just like Lunatic's previous clamor, he would kill them all. In just an instant. A total of more than 5,000 to 6,000 ultimate profoundness were shattered by the sword chi. Not enough. It can still be stronger. Power of all evil, erupt. Madman roared. The power of all evil that had been accumulating in his body for a long time surged out like a flood and instantly entered the all-evil sword. Clang! The all-evil sword trembled even more violently. A deafening sound echoed in all directions. In the blink of an eye, the lethality of the all-evil sword soared to a whole new level. As Madman continued to swing his sword, waves of blood-colored sword chi shot out like a surging torrent. At this moment, nothing else could be seen in this void except for countless sword chi clashing with hundreds of thousands of ultimate intents. The sword chi was shattering. The ultimate profound was also shattering. Furthermore, at least several tens of ultimate profound would shatter at the same time each time. In terms of quality, every single strand of sword chi from the all-evil sword was far superior to the ultimate profundities that contained the will of the heavenly Tao. How can he be so strong? Princess Yuxian didn't make a move. She stood beside the emperor and silently watched this scene. Her heart was in turmoil. One man and one sword was actually able to contend against over 700,000 ultimate profundities. Most importantly, the current madman showed no signs of losing. He was like a god, standing in the sky above the myriad Devil Valley. Not a single ultimate profound could break through the blockade of the sword chi and reach him. As the princess of the central dynasty, the apple of the emperor's eye. What kind of world had she not seen? But this was the first time she had seen such a scene in her life. Actually, if it was in the past, Madman would definitely not have this ability. Because in the past, the power of all evil in his body was not much. But now. First, he took the initiative to absorb the evil power in the Black Tortoise world. Later, he entered the myriad Devil Valley. Moreover, it had been 2 years since Madman entered the myriad Devil Valley. With Madman's brain, he would definitely set up a time array when he was in seclusion to fuse the ultimate profound. In other words, from the outside, it seemed like 2 years, but in reality, Madman had stayed in the myriad Devil Valley for over 3 million years. For over 3 million years, although he did not take the initiative to absorb the evil power, he did not dare to do so. Because if he did so, it would cause too much of a commotion and would definitely alarm the living beings near the myriad Devil Valley, but even if he did not take the initiative to absorb the evil power of the myriad Devil Valley, for over 3 million years, the amount of evil power that entered his body was unimaginable. It could be said that at this time, the power of all evil in his body, even if he crazily squandered it, it would not be used up in a short period of time. The most important thing was, he could take the initiative to absorb the evil power of the myriad Devil Valley at any time. Because now, his whereabouts had been exposed, so there was no need to worry so much. Don't you know that as the body of all evil, I am invincible in the myriad Devil Valley? Madman laughed wildly. Finally, he began to take the initiative to absorb the evil power of the myriad Devil Valley. Immediately, waves of evil power crazily rushed towards him like a tide. The void where he was instantly submerged in blood mist, as if it had turned into a sea of blood. What kind of monster is this person? The evil power here, even we don't dare to touch it easily, but this person not only dared to run into the myriad Devil Valley, but also directly absorbed the evil power. The humans, beasts, and sea beasts that gathered in the distance were all in disbelief. The fact that the myriad demons valley could become a revered forbidden zone in the central dynasty was enough to show how terrifying it was. But they did not expect such a monster to run out now. In the eyes of this person, this evil power was like a tonic. Time passed breath by breath. Madman held the all-evil sword in his hand, while resisting the terrifying heavenly tribulation. He also bombarded the ultimate profound in the surroundings, like a demon god. Many creatures had already been scared out of their wits by Madman's means. It was simply too ridiculous. More than 700,000 ultimate profound in supreme law couldn't do anything to him for a while. Of those 700,000 ultimate profound, 10,000 had already been shattered by the sword chi of the all-evil sword. One must know. When he fought with Ji Laoshi back then, Madman's all-evil sword could only shatter 10,000 ultimate profound. In other words, at this time, the all-evil sword had already surpassed the all-evil sword back then. And it was only a matter of time before it surpassed it. As expected. With enough evil power, the all-evil sword would be able to increase its power endlessly. Why, a mere person from the lower realm, how could he merge with the source of all evil, create the true body of all evil, and become a god that controls all evil in the world? I refuse to accept this. I, Dong Hanzong, have mastered the Qian Kun domain, stellar shift, invincible body, sealing force, and other heaven-defying means. I must not lose to him. Everyone listen to my order, immediately stop the next round of attacks. Looking at the awe-inspiring and all-powerful madman, Dong Hanzong's heart went crazy. Anger and jealousy emerged uncontrollably. Following his roar. Immediately. Around the myriad Devil Valley, all the will of heaven powerhouses once again displayed their ultimate profound. Chapter 4497. Little lunatic, this guy is simply invincible in the Thousand Demons Valley. The white-eyed wolf grinned. Although he is indeed powerful, if this continues, he will still suffer in the end. Qin Feiyang glanced at Dong Qingyuan and the others, a cold light flashing in his eyes. Before the first wave subsided, another wave arose. These people didn't want to give senior brother lunatic any chance to breathe. We should also make a move. After all, lunatic still has to transcend the tribulation. Moreover, the power of all evil will be useful in the future battle. We can't waste it all here. Long Chen said. Heard it. Qin Feiyang couldn't help but frown. He looked at the Emperor and Princess Yuxian and said, I have long wanted to make a move, but I was a little hesitant. What are you hesitating for? Long Chen was puzzled. Look at the Emperor and Princess Yuxian, why haven't they made a move yet? It's because they see that only senior brother lunatic is here, so they don't need to use the power of origin. But once we make a move, they will definitely use the power of origin. Once the power of origin appears, we will have no hope. Qin Feiyang said. Because lunatic still had more than 40 heavenly tribulations left. On average, each heavenly tribulation would take about 10 breaths, so 40 heavenly tribulations would take 400 breaths. With the terrifying power of origin, 400 breaths was enough to kill Qin Feiyang and the others countless times. In other words, they couldn't hold on for more than 400 breaths. That's true. Long Chen whispered. The Death God Army, the Kunping Sea region, the Sky Dragon Mountain Range, the 10 direct descendant families, these heavenly will powerhouses were actually not the main point. The most terrifying one was the emperor. This person controlled the power of origin, and more than one or two heavenly will. If the emperor didn't make a move, everything was still possible. But if the emperor made a move, they would have to face a nightmare. Little lunatic, you can choose another place to transcend the tribulation. The black tortoise world has grown for so many years, I wonder if it can withstand the tribulation now. Little Qin Z, why don't you ask that brat? White-eyed wolf said. All right. Qin Feiyang nodded, and immediately asked Little Wimp secretly. As for the emperor, White-eyed wolf opened his mouth again. His eyes flashed and he said with a sneaky smile, I have an idea. What? Long Chen and the Sea Lion King looked at him suspiciously. Now that the situation was critical, as long as it wasn't a particularly bad idea, it would be fine. Find someone to go to Imperial Capital Mountain. The Imperial Capital Mountain is their headquarters. As long as someone attacks the Imperial Capital Mountain now, the Emperor will definitely not be able to remain calm. The white-eyed wolf cackled. Qin Feiyang, Long Chen, and Sea Lion glanced at each other. He did not expect the white-eyed wolf to come up with such a good idea. Not bad. There is no better idea. Imperial Capital Mountain was the sacred ground of the Central Dynasty. There must be a lot of treasures and resources hidden there. It was even possible. More than half of the Central Dynasty's resources were on Imperial Capital Mountain. As long as someone went to the Imperial Capital Mountain now, how could the Emperor remain calm? Furthermore, the person who killed his way to the Imperial Capital Mountain must definitely be powerful enough. Because only in this way can the Emperor go back in person. After all, if we can't lure the Emperor away, no matter how perfect our plan is, it will be meaningless. The white-eyed wolf thought. Not bad. You always drop the ball at the critical moment, but now you can come up with such a good idea. Qin Feiyang patted the white-eyed wolf's shoulder. This guy was finally reliable for once. Nonsense. I usually just pretend to be stupid. Do you think I'm really stupid? The white-eyed wolf smiled proudly. Then who will go? Sea Lion King looked at Qin Feiyang and the other two and asked. Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf looked at each other and looked at Long Chen at the same time. Why are you looking at me? You are not going to let me go, are you? Long Chen was stunned. The white-eyed wolf bared his teeth and said, Your god's domain is so strong now. There will be no problem. The corner of Long Chen's mouth twitched. Going to the Imperial Capital Mountain alone and facing the Emperor of the Central Dynasty later, he couldn't help but feel his scalp tingle. He said, I think it's better for Brother Qin to go, because in the eyes of the Emperor, Brother Qin's threat is far greater than mine. No, no. They don't care about you now because they don't know that the person who went to the Imperial Capital Mountain, killed the 9 commanders, and slaughtered Han Zhongqing was you. If they know, you will be more important in their hearts than me. Qin Feiyang waved his hand. Long Chen was speechless. Anyway, I can't run away. You are the #1 person in our team now. Qin Feiyang laughed. Don't flatter me. Long Chen's face darkened. #1. Although my god's domain has evolved, to be honest, I don't have the confidence to defeat Qin Feiyang. 3,000 incarnations, Eye of Heaven, Law of Life and Death, Dual Will of Heavenly Tao, especially the Eye of Heaven. For Qin Feiyang, who grasped the law of time, he only needed to lay down a time array. He didn't need to go to the black tortoise world to instantly replicate a large amount of ultimate meaning. In other words, after Qin Feiyang grasped the law of time, the weakness of the Eye of Heaven's replication speed no longer existed. Time is tight, hurry up. The white-eyed wolf urged. Okay. Long Chen had a helpless expression. He directly walked out of the invisible state and opened a space-time passage to leave. Because now, everyone's attention was on the madman. In addition, Long Chen had never appeared in the Central Dynasty. Although Dong Qingyuan and the other giants knew of his existence, the others didn't. The only time he appeared was when he killed the 9 commanders and slaughtered Han Zhongcheng. He was still hiding his identity, so no one paid attention to him. In the sky above the myriad Devil Valley, the madman had already gone completely crazy. The evil power of the myriad Devil Valley crazily poured into his body. From afar, it was as if he was standing in a sea of blood. Imperial Capital Mountain. A space-time passage appeared. A red-haired old man sat cross-legged under a stone tablet. His eyes were narrowed and his aura was extraordinary. The original guard had already died in the hands of Long Chen. When he killed the 9 commanders, he also killed him. Therefore, this red-haired old man was the new guard. He was also a will of heavenly Tao expert. Similarly, he also had a low-class sovereign weapon. This was the standard of the guards at the entrance of the Imperial Capital Mountain. Because only those who were strong enough could guard the entrance. Who is it? As Long Chen walked out of the space-time passage, the red-haired old man immediately opened his eyes and looked at Long Chen with vigilance. Because of the previous guard's lesson, this red-haired old man was especially careful. You don't recognize me? Long Chen stood in the sky and smiled faintly. The red-haired old man was slightly taken aback and looked at Long Chen suspiciously. Long Chen shook his head and smiled. Looks like there aren't many people in the Central Dynasty who know me. What do you mean? Is this person not from the Central Dynasty? The red-haired old man was shocked. Clang! In the next moment, he suddenly stood up and a 3-meter-long saber appeared in his hand. Divine aura spread in all directions. This was his sovereign weapon. There was a lifelike azure dragon carved on it. At first glance, it looked like the azure dragon crescent saber. Please remember my name. My name is Long Chen. Long Chen smiled and opened his divinity domain. It was as if he had turned into a god. The red-haired old man immediately felt a strong sense of danger. Long Chen, the red-haired old man murmured. This name sounded familiar. Where had he heard it before? Wait. It seemed that Qin Feiyang had an accomplice called Long Chen. Could it be? The red-haired old man's eyes suddenly widened. These people were too bold. They came to the Imperial Capital Mountain again and again. Following closely. The red-haired old man stared at the divinity domain. What was this thing? Why did it give him such a strong sense of danger? You should be familiar with it. Because someone had seen my divinity domain in Han Zhongcheng. Long Chen smiled. He took a step forward and landed in front of the entrance with the divinity domain. A light screen appeared in front of the entrance. This was the barrier that protected the Imperial Capital Mountain. Han Zhongcheng. The red-haired old man's eyes trembled as he stared at Long Chen and the divinity domain in surprise. Are you the one who killed the 9 great commanders and slaughtered Han Zhongcheng? Congratulations, your answer is correct. Long Chen smiled. Chapter 4498. So it was you who did it. Coming to my Imperial Capital Mountain to kill people, and the ones you killed are the 9 commanders, you really have guts. The red-haired old man's killing intent soared into the sky. Is Imperial Capital Mountain that great? Long Chen smiled faintly and stepped towards the barrier at the entrance. Don't waste your energy. The barrier of Imperial Capital Mountain is formed by the Divine Kingdom's rule force. With your ability, it's impossible to break the barrier and step into Imperial Capital Mountain. The red-haired old man sneered. Is that so? Since you know that I slaughtered Han Zhongcheng, you should know that rule force is useless against me. Facing the red-haired old man's ridicule, Long Chen smiled lightly. When he landed in front of the barrier, the moment his god's domain touched the barrier, the rock-solid barrier began to distort and deform. This, the red-haired old man was instantly dumbfounded. What was going on? Could it be that the rule force this person controlled in Han Zhongcheng was related to this domain? So terrifying. How could there be such a person in this world? Boom! The next moment, the barrier collapsed and turned into rule force. However, this rule force did not dissipate and gathered in front of Long Chen. It was as if he was the ruler of this world. Following closely, Long Chen stepped into Imperial Capital Mountain and looked at the red-haired old man with a faint smile. Can you stop me? What kind of monster are you? The red-haired old man roared in horror and turned around to flee frantically. His face was pale and full of fear. Since ancient times, no one could shake the barrier of Imperial Capital Mountain, let alone break it. But now, this Long Chen actually broke the barrier in an instant without any effort at all. Monster, Long Chen murmured, shook his head and laughed. Not to mention this old man, sometimes even he felt like a monster. Of course. He wasn't the only monster, there were many around him. Where do you want to go? As soon as these words came out, the god's domain quickly expanded and finally merged with this world. It was equivalent to saying, now the entire Imperial Capital Mountain was his domain. Rule force emerged like a tide, crazily rushing towards the red-haired old man. There was nowhere to escape. Because all directions were filled with rule force. The red-haired old man activated his sovereign divine weapon and desperately defended himself. Simultaneously, he also wanted to activate the ultimate intent of ultimate laws. However, he discovered that the power of laws in his body seemed to be sealed and he couldn't activate it. This was the realm of gods. No. Hurry up and inform His Majesty. The red-haired old man was terrified. He took out the divine sound transmission stone. Long Chen didn't stop him. Because this was exactly what he wanted. If he did not give the red-haired old man a chance to send a message, how would the emperor know that he had attacked the Imperial Capital Mountain? In the blink of an eye. Myriad Demons Valley. Madman had already shattered more than 20,000 ultimate profundities. His blood-red hair fluttered in the wind. His two blood-red eyes were overflowing with bloody light. Like a peerless demon with a bloody sword in his hand, he swept across the land. What a pity. It would be great if he was from our divine nation. The emperor shook his head regretfully. Not to mention the lunatics in the future, just the lunatics now were enough to dominate the world. It could be said that, without the power of origin, without a powerful sovereign divine weapon, looking at the current divine kingdom, no one was a match for the lunatics. The emperor couldn't figure it out. Why would such an outstanding person be born in the sky cloud realm? The lunatics were the same. Qin Feiyang and Golden Wing Wolf King were the same. What if these three were all born in the divine kingdom? Qin Feiyang, Madman Mo, Golden Wing Wolf King, in addition to Lu Yuntian and Lu Yunfeng. There was also Dong Hanzong, Dong Tianqian, Dong Xian, Dong Qin, and Dong Ping. These were a total of 10 peerless geniuses. With these 10 peerless geniuses, who could compete with the divine kingdom? It wasn't impossible for them to dominate the world. Buzz. Just as the emperor was imagining things, the divine sound transmission stone suddenly rang. The emperor raised his eyebrows. At this time, who would send him a message? He didn't want to bother. Because right now, he really didn't have the mood to bother. But the divine sound transmission stone kept ringing. The emperor angrily took out the divine sound transmission stone. As it woke up, the image of the red-haired old man appeared. What are you doing? Don't you know that we're busy in the Myriad Devil Valley? The emperor said angrily. The red-haired old man shouted, I know, but your majesty, something bad has happened. Long Chen has come to our imperial capital mountain again. Long Chen. He went to imperial capital mountain again. What do you mean? The emperor was stunned. Beside him, Princess Yuxian couldn't help but look at the red-haired old man suspiciously. The red-haired old man shouted anxiously, "This Long Chen is the person who came to imperial capital mountain last time, killed the 9 great commanders, and slaughtered Han Zhongcheng. So it's him." The emperor's gaze trembled, and he said in a deep voice, "Long Chen. I've heard Dong Qingyuan mention this person before, but is he so strong?" "Yes. Your Majesty, you should hurry back, otherwise imperial capital mountain will be razed to the ground by him." The red-haired old man was burning with anxiety. Raze imperial capital mountain to the ground? The emperor was stunned and mocked. He can't even enter imperial capital mountain, how can he raise it to the ground? Don't be an alarmist here, just guard your gate. After we get rid of Madman Mo, we will immediately return. It's too late, he has already entered imperial capital mountain. The red-haired old man roared. What? The emperor's face suddenly changed. Princess Yuxian's face also changed. He has already entered imperial capital mountain, how is this possible? The red-haired old man said, he can control the rule force of our divine kingdom, the barrier of imperial capital mountain is useless against him. Bastard! The emperor roared, and thunder raged. What's the situation? This roar startled all directions. Countless people looked at the emperor. What happened? Why did the emperor suddenly become so angry? Hee. Suddenly, a faint laughter sounded, and a white figure appeared behind the red-haired old man. This person is... Everyone looked at the young man in white who suddenly appeared in surprise. Long Chen. Dong Hanzong's pupils shrank, and he roared, "Why are you at Imperial Capital Mountain?" "Not only me, we are all at Imperial Capital Mountain. You guys went to Thousand Devil Valley to kill Madman, of course we can't be at a disadvantage, so we took the opportunity to come and destroy your nest. I think there should be a lot of divine objects in this Imperial Capital Mountain." Long Chen chuckled. Then, with a wave of his hand, accompanied by a loud clang, the ruler divine weapon Sky Dragon Sword appeared. The red-haired old man's face turned pale, and the Zanmadeo in his hand erupted with a destructive power, slashing towards Long Chen. "Low-level ruler divine weapon, don't take it out and embarrass yourself." Long Chen shook his head. With a slash of the Sky Dragon Sword, the Zanmadeo shattered on the spot. That's right. It was shattered. A ruler divine weapon was destroyed just like that. Although it was a low-level ruler divine weapon, it was destroyed just like that, who knows how many people's hearts ached. This guy, no matter what, it's a ruler divine weapon, doesn't he know how to keep it? The white-eyed wolf, who was invisible, kept twitching the corner of his mouth. It was really a waste of God's gift. Don't be in a hurry to come back, we still want to walk around Imperial Capital Mountain. After shattering the Zanmadeo, Long Chen looked at the emperor with a smile, and another sword fell. The red-haired old man, who was unable to activate the ultimate profound, could only watch as the Sky Dragon Sword came. "Your Majesty, save me!" Accompanied by a desperate scream, the red-haired old man died on the spot. The reason why Long Chen killed the red-haired old man so quickly was because he didn't want the red-haired old man to speak. Because the red-haired old man knew that only Long Chen went to Imperial Capital Mountain alone. If the red-haired old man exposed this lie, the emperor would definitely be suspicious. After all, the emperor was not a fool. If the emperor knew that only Long Chen went to Imperial Capital Mountain alone, he might think that this was their plan to lure the tiger away from the mountain. At that time, maybe the emperor would have other arrangements. You really don't know what's good for you. Seeing this scene with his own eyes, the emperor's eyebrows were filled with hostility. Not only did he barge into Imperial Capital Mountain, but he also killed people of Imperial Capital Mountain in front of him. This was not only a provocation to the central dynasty, but also a provocation to his dignity as the emperor. It was simply unforgivable. Moon Immortal, stay here and help. You must kill Madman Mo. The emperor looked at the Moon Immortal princess and said before opening a space-time tunnel. Chapter 4499. Father, are you okay to go back alone? Princess Moon Fairy was a little worried. Because Long Chen had personally said that they were all at Imperial Capital Mountain. This, they, must be referring to Qin Feiyang, the white-eyed wolf, and the golden-winged wolf king. Don't worry. I have the power of origin in my hands. Today, Imperial Capital Mountain will be his burial ground. The emperor stepped into the space-time channel with murderous intent. Phew. The Sea Lion Demon King couldn't help but let out a long breath. The biggest threat had finally left. Don't be too careless. Since the emperor dares to let Princess Moon Fairy stay behind, it means that this woman must have the power of origin in her hands. Qin Feiyang transmitted his voice. Why didn't he bring Princess Moon Fairy back to Imperial Capital Mountain? This way, they would be more confident. Hearing this, the Sea Lion Demon King's expression stiffened, and his heart became uneasy again. Look at your cowardice. If it weren't for the fact that you are pitiful and homeless, I would have chased you away long ago. The white-eyed wolf looked at him with disdain. After all, he was a demon king who controlled the will of the heavenly Tao. Couldn't he be a little more ambitious? The Sea Lion Demon King wanted to cry but had no tears. Who could blame him for being cowardly? Didn't he see who his opponent was? Dong Qingyuan, Dong Hanzong, Kunpeng, the Dragon God, about 120,000 heavenly Tao powerhouses, and Princess Moon Fairy who might have the power of origin. How could he not be nervous with such a terrifying lineup? The fact that he could stay here and not run away was already praiseworthy of his courage. Stop talking nonsense. It's time for us to make a move. Qin Feiyang, Dong Qingyuan, Dong Hanzong, Kunpeng, and the Dragon God's eyes gradually turned cold. Long Chen couldn't drag it out for long. Although his god's domain was very heaven-defying, he had personally said that he hadn't controlled the power of origin of the divine kingdom yet. Even just interfering was very difficult. So, he had to end the battle quickly. No. He couldn't continue fighting. He had to think of a way to take the madman away from Thousand Demons Valley and find another place to transcend the tribulation. Only then could he truly escape danger. What did that brat say? White-eyed Wolf asked. He hasn't replied to me yet. He probably isn't confident either. Qin Feiyang shook his head. That's a little tricky. White-eyed Wolf frowned. However, right at this moment, Little Wimp's voice rang out in Qin Feiyang's mind. Brat, let that little lunatic come in and undergo the tribulation. Can the Black Tortoise realm withstand it? Qin Feiyang's spirits were lifted. Hold my ass. The little brat seemed to be very angry. He seemed to be disdaining Qin Feiyang and the others for always causing trouble for him. If he can't withstand it, you still want him to go to the Black Tortoise world to undergo the tribulation? Qin Feiyang was stunned. Although we can't withstand it, the Black Tortoise realm has grown a lot over the years. Not to mention how strong it is, it's at least a lot stronger than when you were undergoing the tribulation. Just now, Fire Lotus and I have already moved the western region, and the northern region's living beings and resources are specially set aside for lunatic to undergo the tribulation. Little Wimp said snappily. So that's how it is. Thank you. Qin Feiyang suddenly understood and was extremely grateful to this little brat. As long as he could enter the Black Tortoise realm to undergo the tribulation, then most of the problem would be solved. Moreover, the Black Tortoise realm had a time array. Even though lunatic spent half a day in the Black Tortoise realm to undergo the tribulation, only a moment had passed outside. Immediately, Qin Feiyang told the white-eyed wolf and the sea lion demon king the good news. That's great. As long as lunatic can enter the black tortoise realm, then with your speed, escaping the encirclement will be easy. The sea lion demon king laughed in joy. Easy. Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf looked at each other and the corners of their mouths twitched. How could it be so easy? But no matter what. As long as lunatic could enter the black tortoise realm to undergo the tribulation, the situation would be much better. Let's do it. The white-eyed wolf transmitted his voice. Qin Feiyang nodded and said to the sea lion demon king, "You deal with these people who are here to join in the fun." The sea lion demon king swept his gaze across the crowd. Although there was a sea of people around, none of them had grasped the will of the heavenly Tao, so there was nothing to worry about. Boss Qin really took care of him and gave him such an easy task. Leave it to me. If he still didn't dare to nod, then he would really lose face. Huff. Qin Feiyang let out a long breath. In the next moment, he took a step forward, leading the white-eyed wolf and sea lion demon king to land silently behind Princess Yuxian, Dong Hanzong, Dong Qingyuan, Kuanpeng, Heaven Dragon God, Heart Demon, and Lu Jiajin. At the same time, the second wave of attacks had been completed and they were only waiting for Dong Qingyuan's order. More than 700,000 ultimate mysteries floated in the air, emitting a destructive power. Now's the time. Qin Feiyang's eyes surged with murderous intent. The 3,000 incarnations and the Eye of Heaven opened almost at the same time. Roar! A series of deafening dragon roars took place. Following that, a destructive aura erupted between the heavens and the earth. Everyone present couldn't help but be shocked and immediately looked up. They saw Qin Feiyang, the white-eyed wolf, and the sea lion demon king standing in the air. Qin Feiyang's 3,000 incarnations stood neatly behind the three of them. Above each incarnation's head, there was a purple-gold dragon soul. In between the dragon soul's eyebrows, there was an eye that could make heaven and earth tremble. This was the Eye of Heaven. What's going on? Aren't they on Imperial Capital Mountain? Could it be? Everyone was surprised. The 3,000 purple-gold dragon souls almost filled half the sky, emitting a monstrous dragon aura. And in the void under the feet of the 3,000 incarnations, there was a time array visible to the naked eye. They stood in the center of the time array, like gods descending. Not to mention the onlookers, even the death god army, beast kings, and demon kings couldn't help but feel fear. This was a kind of instinctive fear. This was Qin Feiyang's current prestige. No matter how strong one was, as long as they saw him, they would instinctively feel fear. And above the 3,000 incarnations dragon souls, ultimate mysteries were constantly being replicated. Stepping on the time array, one day was equivalent to 5,000 years. This replication speed naturally couldn't be compared to before. It was just a blink of an eye. Above the 3,000 incarnations' heads, there were hundreds of thousands of ultimate mysteries, emitting a divine aura that made people feel fear. Kill. All of this was said to be slow, but the whole process was just a blink of an eye. Suddenly, the 3,000 incarnations roared in unison, and their killing intent shook the sky. At this moment, heaven and earth changed color, and the void collapsed crazily, like a scene of doomsday. Rumble. Hundreds of thousands of ultimate mysteries were like a torrent, rushing toward Dong Hanzong and the others. Kuanpeng's expression changed. The dragon god's expression changed. Dong Qingyuan's face was also pale. The inner demons and Lu Jiajin's eyes flickered, and they didn't intend to resist at all. They definitely didn't want to fight with Qin Feiyang and the others. But with so many people present, and Princess Yuxian personally overseeing it, they couldn't just stand by and watch. Therefore, there was only one way. They were seriously injured. Only when they were seriously injured would they have a reason not to make a move. However, they couldn't just sit and wait for death. With hundreds of thousands of ultimate mysteries, if they just stood there and let themselves be beaten, they would definitely end up with their bodies and souls destroyed. Therefore, after pretending to be shocked, the inner demons immediately activated the momentary time, dual wills of the heavenly Tao, turned around, and flew away. Yes. Their shock was just an act for others to see. Because they already knew that Qin Feiyang and the others were hiding here. Since they already knew, what was there to be shocked about? Therefore, they still had to put on an act. In the face of such a sudden attack, if they didn't even put on an act, it would definitely arouse suspicion. Chapter 4500. The inner demons had dual wills of the heavenly Tao and were very fast. They could barely avoid the direct attack of hundreds of thousands of ultimate mysteries. However, Dong Hanzong, Dong Qingyuan, Kuan Peng, the Dragon God, Princess Yu Xian and the others were not so lucky. Boom! As hundreds of thousands of ultimate mysteries arrived, the people standing in front of the entrance of the Thousand Demons Valley, whether it was Dong Qingyuan and the others, the members of the Death God Army, the Demon King, the Beast King, or the people of the 10 direct families, were drowned by the ultimate mysteries on the spot. To them, this was a devastating blow. Although at this moment, in order to kill Lunatic, they had once again activated their ultimate mysteries, but they were scattered. About 120,000 strong heavenly Tao powerhouses were scattered in all directions of the Thousand Demons Valley. There were only about 10,000 people at the entrance. Of course. It definitely did not include those who were behind them. If they were included, the number would naturally be immeasurable. But don't think that just because there were more than 10,000 people, they could be underestimated. These 10,000 people all grasped the will of the heavenly Tao, and some even grasped 7 or 8 ultimate mysteries of the strongest laws. More than 10,000 people, which meant that there were 60 to 70,000 ultimate mysteries. Facing 60 to 70,000 ultimate mysteries, without the 3,000 incarnations, the all-evil sword, the Demon King true body, the universe domain, and the origin energy, who could compete? So, to ordinary people, this was an invincible existence. But in front of Qin Feiyang, it was far from enough. Moreover, as it was a surprise attack, there were not many who could react in time. Rumble, hundreds of thousands of ultimate intents erupted with a world-destroying divine might. The Demon King, Beast King, members of the Death God Army, and the people of the 10 direct families at the entrance all died on the spot. After all, these were hundreds of thousands of ultimate mysteries. How could the mere 10,000 or so people at the entrance be able to stop them? Moreover, the barrier that the Death God Army had set up to seal the Thousand Demons Valley also collapsed on the spot. So strong. The people behind who were watching the show came back to their senses and kept retreating. The Sea Lion Demon King stared at these people and said with a murderous aura, "You all better be sensible. If you dare to interfere, don't blame me for being ruthless and destroying all of you." This was the task given to him by Qin Feiyang, to prevent these miscellaneous people from interfering. Hearing the Sea Lion Monster King's words, whether it was the humans, the beasts, or the sea beasts, they were all terrified. At the same time, the inner demons and Lu Jiajin looked at each other and slowed down. Following closely, the two of them were engulfed by the terrifying battle aura. Immediately, they screamed in pain as their bodies were crushed. "Damn it! Qin Feiyang, I will not let you off." The inner demon spat out some harsh words before fleeing with Lu Jiajin without looking back. This way, they would have a reason to avoid the battle. It's a pity that these two fellows aren't actors. The white-eyed wolf secretly gritted his teeth. Qin Feiyang and the white-eyed wolf knew that the inner demons and Lu Jiajin were faking it. However, the Sea Lion Demon King didn't know. Because he still didn't know the relationship between the inner demons and Qin Feiyang and the others. Seeing that the inner demons and Lu Jiajin were seriously injured and their bodies were crushed, he couldn't help but sigh in relief. These two were the strongest existences in the Central Dynasty. Their bodies were crushed, which was undoubtedly a great loss for the Central Dynasty. And for them, there were two less powerful enemies for the time being. Let's go. Let's meet up with senior brother. Qin Feiyang glanced at the people behind who were watching the fun. These people were tactful and didn't come to cause trouble for him. Then, he activated the momentary time and the dual will of the heavenly Tao, bringing the white-eyed wolf and the sea lion monster king toward the myriad demons valley. Boom! However, at this moment, a terrifying aura erupted. Qin Feiyang and the others were shocked. They hurriedly looked down and saw several figures walking out of the dust. It was the Moon Immortal Princess, Dong Qingyuan, Kuanpeng, and the Dragon God. They were also in a sorry state, with bloodstains all over their bodies. However, they didn't suffer any fatal injuries. This was because there was a barrier around them that was emitting a five-colored divine light. This barrier was protecting them. This barrier was formed from the condensed power of the origin source. This woman indeed has the origin energy in her hands. The white-eyed wolf's eyes darkened. You guys really don't know what's good for you. Another bone-chilling voice sounded. Qin Feiyang and the others followed the voice and saw Dong Hanzong walking out of the dust. There was also a domain around him. Obviously. Previously, he had activated the Qian Kun domain and the invincible body. You actually have the origin energy? Why didn't you say so earlier? If you had said so earlier, we wouldn't have run. Our bodies wouldn't have been destroyed by them. Seeing the Moon Immortal Princess and the others walking out safely, the inner demons and Lu Jiajin were stunned. Then, the inner demons glared at the Moon Immortal Princess and roared in dissatisfaction. Obviously. The inner demons and the others didn't know that the Moon Immortal Princess had the origin energy in her hands. Who told you to run? You deserve it. The Moon Immortal Princess rolled her eyes. Although she was very annoyed by her inner demon's attitude, she did not suspect the two of them. These people are really lucky. They didn't die even after that. Looking at them, the white-eyed wolf was a little angry. Ignore them. Qin Feiyang didn't stop and continued to rush towards the myriad demons valley. You guys are really strong. In just an instant, you caused the Central Dynasty to suffer heavy losses and even tricked my father back to the imperial capital mountain. But if you think you can save the madman like this, you are gravely mistaken. Today is the day you die. The Moon Immortal Princess's eyes flashed with cold light. The barrier around her collapsed and turned into a terrifying origin energy that surged into the sky. Firstly, it was to stop Qin Feiyang and the others from meeting up with the madman. Secondly, it was to kill a few people. Naturally, she had full confidence in the origin energy. Damn woman, you are really courting death. Looking at this scene, the white-eyed wolf's eyes flashed with killing intent. Boom! At the same time, Dong Qingyuan, Kuanpeng, and the Dragon God all attacked. Various ultimate intents appeared out of nowhere. Moreover, the Dragon God and Kuanpeng summoned their pinnacle dominator divine weapons. They instantly awakened and burst out with destructive power. Especially Dong Hanzong. When enemies meet, their eyes turn red. The Sealed God Domain, God-Slaying Domain, Clear Heaven Domain, and Undying Domain were all activated at the same time. Now, he was almost invincible. Moreover, the Clear Heaven Domain gave him two wills of the Great Path. Today, the Myriad Demons Valley will be your burial ground. He let out a ferocious roar as he raised his hand and waved it fiercely. An invisible force instantly rushed towards Qin Feiyang and the other two like a tide. This was the power of the Sealed God Domain. Once submerged by this force, Qin Feiyang and the others' power, divine power, and law energy would be sealed. As a result, no matter how strong they were, they would not be able to use it. Two bosses, quickly think of a way. The sea lion beast king was so scared that he almost peed his pants. The white-eyed wolf's battle soul could restrain Dong Hanzong's domain. Qin Feiyang's strength was enough to crush Dong Qingyuan, Kuanpeng, and the dragon god, including the two pinnacle dominator divine weapons. However, even if they risked their lives, they would not be able to block the origin energy of the Moon Immortal Princess. Why are you panicking? They have help, so do we. The white-eyed wolf shouted coldly and transmitted his voice, Little Qin Zi, it's time to let them out. N. Qin Feiyang nodded. Chapter 4501. Of course, he was referring to the demon ancestor, Dong Jingyang, Mu Tianyang, and Lin Yi. As for Mu Qing, although his omniscient eye had the power of omniscient, it didn't have much use in battle. So, he only needed to help monitor the Emperor's movements in the Black Tortoise realm. Don't think that his role in the Black Tortoise realm was not significant. On the contrary, he was the key to victory or defeat. Because the enemy's every move was under his surveillance. Swish. With Qin Feiyang's thought, Mu Tianyang, Dong Jingyang, Lin Yi, and the demon ancestor appeared beside the three. It's up to you. Qin Feiyang said. Okay. Lin Yi nodded, and the Eye of Oblivion opened instantly, locking onto Dong Hanzong, Princess Moon Fairy, Dong Qingyuan, Kuanpeng, and the Dragon God. The Eye of Oblivion suddenly displayed a heaven-defying power. The minds of the five people instantly went blank. Their memories were forcibly deprived. You are all my servants. Immediately withdraw your origin power, ultimate meaning, and sovereign divine weapon. Lin Yi said. Her words were the law. Princess Moon Fairy and the other four immediately withdrew their ultimate meaning, origin power, and sovereign divine weapon. What's going on? Just by looking at Dong Hanzong and the others, she can control their minds. In the distance, the eyes of the onlookers were full of disbelief. What the hell is this? It's too terrifying. The Eye of Oblivion is really powerful. Lu Jiajin chuckled. I didn't expect this girl to become an existence that can threaten the central dynasty. No. It shouldn't be said that she is a threat. It should be an extreme threat. The inner demons looked at Lin Yi and couldn't help but recall the scene when she was controlled by the demon ancestor, lost her memory, and fought with them in the past. At that time, Lin Yi wasn't a big shot at all, and she wasn't very strong. The demon ancestor controlled her because of her value and importance in Qin Feiyang's heart. But who would have thought? After so many years. How did this weak girl become a threat to the central dynasty? Although she had yet to fully integrate the inheritance of the ultimate profundity and grasp the will of the Great Path, no one dared to underestimate her with just the Eye of Oblivion. Go. Lin Yi looked at Qin Feiyang. With a wave of his hand, Qin Feiyang swept them up and flew over the Moon Fairy Princess and the others, directly entering the sky above the Myriad Demons Valley. The white-eyed wolf asked in confusion, Little E, why don't you let the Moon Fairy Princess give all of her origin energy to us? In that case, they would have an absolute chance of winning. I haven't grasped the will of the Heavenly Tao yet, so I can't control her for long. Doing this is taking a risk. Because it's very likely that she has already broken free from the control of the Eye of Oblivion before the origin energy is delivered to us. Lin Yi transmitted her voice. The best proof of that was when Zhang Xian managed to subdue the old man on the floating island. With Lin Yi's current cultivation, it was still a little difficult to control the powerhouse of Heaven's will. Sure enough. The moment Qin Feiyang and the others entered the Myriad Demons Valley, the Moon Fairy Princess and the others suddenly recovered their memories and consciousness. This is the Eye of Oblivion, they were shocked to the extreme. What a pity. If this girl has the will of the Heavenly Tao and can control it for a longer time, she might be able to obtain the origin energy in the hands of the Moon Fairy Princess. Lu Jiajin shook his head with some regret. Don't worry. The appearance of the demon ancestor and the others means that the show has just begun. The inner demon snickered. Not good. They have entered the myriad demons valley. Kuan Peng came back to his senses and looked at the sky above the myriad demons valley. His expression suddenly changed. Unexpectedly, in just a blink of an eye, these people broke through their blockade and successfully entered the myriad demons valley. Eye of Oblivion, this was another existence that posed a great threat to them. Don't even think about it. The Moon Fairy Princess shouted coldly. The retracted origin energy immediately turned into a 3-foot-long sword, tore through the sky, and charged towards Qin Feiyang and the others. Do you think I don't exist? Mu Tianyang suddenly turned around and activated the Eye of Evil. The Moon Fairy Princess' 7 emotions and 6 desires were instantly ignited. Her entire person directly entered a state of madness, as if she was possessed. As she waved her hand, the 3-foot-long sword formed by the origin energy immediately turned in the air and charged towards Dong Hanzong, Dong Qingyuan, Kuan Peng, and the Dragon God. Your Highness! What are you doing? Wake up! Don't be controlled by the Eye of Despair. The 4 of them suddenly changed their expressions. Seeing that the Moon Fairy Princess had no intention of waking up, and instead revealed a ferocious look, they quickly turned around and fled. Even Dong Hanzong, who had an invincible body in the undying domain, did not dare to face the origin energy head-on. At the same time, Qin Feiyang and the others rushed to the madman's side. At this moment, the void around the madman was filled with the evil energy of the myriad demons valley. Moreover, because the evil energy of the entire myriad demons valley was rushing towards the madman at this moment, the evil energy here had far exceeded the original myriad demons valley. Even Qin Feiyang, in an instant, felt that the power of law, power, divine soul, divine power, and so on in his body were being eroded crazily. According to his inference. Now, he could only stay by the madman's side for 10 breaths at most. Once 10 breaths were up, he would die without a doubt. One must know. In the original myriad demons valley, he could stay for about half an hour. But now, he could only stay by the madman's side for 10 breaths. One could imagine how terrifying was the evil energy around the madman now. I knew that you must be hiding in the dark, waiting for an opportunity to move. The madman bared his teeth. The white-eyed wolf said in a deep voice, "Don't talk nonsense, hurry up and go to the Black Tortoise world." No matter how terrifying the evil energy was, he was not afraid. But Qin Feiyang, Sea Lion Demon King, Demon Ancestor, Mu Tianyang, and Dong Xingyang could not resist the erosion of these evil energy. Especially Lin Yi. She had not mastered the will of heavenly Tao yet. The current her was almost at her limit. What? Go to the Black Tortoise world? Don't joke around, such a terrifying heavenly tribulation. If you go to the Black Tortoise world to transcend the tribulation, won't the Black Tortoise world suffer? No. No matter what, we can't implicate the creatures of the Black Tortoise world. The madman shook his head. The creatures of the Black Tortoise world were Qin Feiyang's treasures. And once, because of the selfless blood of these creatures, they had helped them through many crises and calamities. So, not only Qin Feiyang, but the madman also had a lot of feelings for the creatures of the Black Tortoise world. Don't worry. What you can think of, that kid has already thought of it. He has already vacated the western and northern regions for you to transcend the tribulation. The white-eyed wolf said. Specifically vacated the western and northern regions for me to transcend the tribulation. The madman was taken aback. His heart was suddenly moved. Although this kid was usually a bit overbearing, no one was more reliable than him at critical moments. Go quickly. Hurry up and transcend the tribulation. If we can't break out of the encirclement, we will inevitably face a fierce battle later. With a wave of his hand, Qin Feiyang sent the madman to the Black Tortoise world. The tribulation clouds and the roaring thunder in the sky also disappeared. "Brother Wolf, help me." At this time, Lin Yi's cry for help also sounded. The white-eyed wolf looked at Lin Yi, and his face changed drastically. Lin Yi's eyes were bloodshot as if she was possessed by the devil, but her face was pale. Even her life aura was dissipating rapidly. Obviously, she could no longer resist the erosion of the evil energy. Chapter 4502. The evil forces here can't be devoured completely. I have to leave it for the little madman. After the little madman transcends the tribulation, he will definitely need it. The white-eyed wolf murmured. No. We can't leave it here because they already know that senior brother can absorb these evil forces and can increase the power of the all-evil sword. So, when the time comes, they will definitely transfer the evil forces here or destroy them. Qin Feiyang shook his head. Makes sense. Okay, I'll devour them all. The white-eyed wolf laughed. It's a waste for you to devour them. Instead of letting you devour them, it's better to transfer all the evil forces here to the Black Tortoise realm so that senior brother can absorb them while transcending the tribulation. Qin Feiyang's eyes flickered. Transfer. The white-eyed wolf was taken aback. With so many evil forces and so many enemies, how could it be done in a short time? I'll leave it to you guys. Qin Feiyang looked at the demon ancestor and Mu Tianyang. We'll do our best. The two nodded. Qin Feiyang looked at Dong Xingyang again. Dong Xingyang smiled and said, I've already seen our destiny. Let's do it. As soon as this sentence came out, Qin Feiyang and the others were immediately energized. Although Dong Xingyang didn't say it explicitly, the words "let's do it" were enough to show that they wouldn't die here. In short, as long as they listened to Dong Xingyang's arrangements, they would be fine. Because he had the eye of destiny, he already knew the outcome. All of you, come closer. The white-eyed wolf looked at Qin Feiyang, Lin Yi, Dong Xingyang, the demon ancestor, and Mu Tianyang. The five stretched out their hands and placed them on the white-eyed wolf's shoulders. Immediately, the evil forces in their bodies were frantically absorbed by the white-eyed wolf. Simultaneously, Qin Feiyang waved his hand, and the Thousand Devil Valley's nefarious energy surged out from all directions, entering the Black Tortoise world through his forehead. Black Tortoise world. At the border between the western and northern regions. The sky. Tribulation clouds surged as blood lightning roared. I can finally transcend the tribulation in peace. Just you wait. Once I succeed in my tribulation, I'll slaughter all of you. The madman laughed as he faced the heavenly tribulation. But at this moment, suddenly, a large amount of evil energy appeared in the void. Madman was stunned. Isn't this the evil power of the Myriad Demons Valley? Because he had stayed in the Myriad Devils Valley for so many years, he was very familiar with the evil power of the Myriad Devils Valley. What's going on? Why would the Thousand Devils Valley's evil forces invade the Black Tortoise world? Could it be, was old Qin helping him transfer these evil forces? But the situation outside was so critical, how could they still do such a thing? He really did need this evil power. But they couldn't risk their lives just because he needed them. Old Qin, don't stay in Myriad Demons Valley any longer. Hurry up and leave. The madman transmitted his voice. I've already obtained Dong Xingyang's permission. You can transcend the tribulation without worry. Qin Feiyang's voice sounded in the void. Dong Xingyang's permission, the madman muttered. Then, the corner of his mouth raised slightly. Since he had already obtained Dong Xingyang's permission, then the problem wasn't big. Thank you for your kindness. I'll accept it. The madman laughed as he went all out. While absorbing the evil energy, He held the all-evil sword in his hand and fought against the heavenly tribulation. Brat was wise. The aura of the heavenly tribulation and the all-evil sword were too strong. Every time they collided, a destructive shockwave would be born. In just a few dozen breaths of time, the western and northern regions were almost destroyed. Fortunately, the current black tortoise world has grown a lot and is bigger than before. As long as we use the origin power to block it, we can block the fluctuations of the heavenly tribulation and won't endanger the eastern, southern, central, and devil's land. Otherwise, the disaster caused by the last tribulation will happen again. Brat stood in the sky above the devil's land, looking at the madman in the image in front of him, and said happily. N. The fire lotus beside him nodded. Outside. Your Highness, wake up, if you don't wake up, we will all die in your hands. Dong Qingyuan, Dong Hanzong, Kuan Peng, and the dragon god shouted crazily as they fled for their lives. At this moment, they didn't have the demeanor of a big shot at all. They were like a few mice, fleeing in all directions. However, Princess Yuxian acted as if she didn't hear it, and her expression became even more ferocious. His originally clear eyes were now dyed red with blood, looking extremely terrifying. Interesting. If this woman really kills Dong Hanzong and the others, I wonder what expression the emperor will have. The inner demon snickered. Impossible. Although Mu Tianyang has already grasped the will of the heavenly Tao, he can't control her for long. Lu Jiajin shook his head. It was true. As soon as Lu Jiajin finished speaking, Princess Yuxian suddenly quivered, and the blood in her eyes quickly receded, leaving behind a trace of confusion. Your Highness. You're finally awake, quickly withdraw your origin force. Dong Qingyuan exclaimed happily. N. Princess Yuxian looked in the direction of the voice, and when she saw the origin force crazily attacking Dong Qingyuan and the others, her expression changed greatly. She quickly waved her hand, and the long sword formed by the origin force steadily stopped in front of them. If she was a step late, they might have lost their lives. What's going on with me? Why would I attack the people around me? Princess Yuxian murmured. Suddenly, she recalled that before she lost her mind, there was a man who seemed to have opened an eye. Whoosh! She immediately looked at the sky above the Thousand Demons Valley, and her gaze directly locked onto Mu Tianyang. When she saw the eye of despair again, her emotions that had been stabilized with great difficulty almost lost control again. It's you. A wave of anger rose within him. First, it was the eye of oblivion, and now it was the eye of despair. Over and over again. It was simply unforgivable. Kill them for me. Following her cold shout, it resounded in all directions. Rumble. Immediately. The Beast Kings, Monster Kings, and members of the Death God army that surrounded the Thousand Demons Valley all exuded a shocking murderous aura. In the next moment, the ultimate profound that had been brewing for a long time suddenly moved, attacking Qin Feiyang and the others from all directions. If you want to kill us, you can't do it without the origin force. Qin Feiyang whispered. Roar. The 3,000 incarnations activated, and the purple-gold dragon soul appeared. The eye of heaven was instantly opened. At the same time, a time array appeared under the feet of the 3,000 incarnations. Copy all of them for me. Qin Feiyang shouted in a low voice. With the eruption of the eye of heaven, pieces of ultimate profound continued to appear, and with the support of the time law under the feet, the eye of heaven copied all of the ultimate profound in just a few breaths. The previous eye of heaven did indeed have its drawbacks. If it was in the past, it would take a long time to copy so many ultimate profound. But now, Qin Feiyang grasped the time array for 1 day and 5,000 years. It was even better for him to make up for this flaw. It could be said that now, even if there were millions of ultimate profound, he could copy them all in a short time with the help of the time array. Are the 10 strongest fighting souls all so heaven-defying? Princess Moon Fairy murmured. The Eye of Oblivion, the Eye of Despair, and now the Eye of Heaven. Without the origin force, the strength of these few people would be enough to contend with the entire Death God army. Why didn't I think of this before? Little Qin Z can use the time array to speed up the replication of the Eye of Heaven. Then, can't my fighting soul do the same? The white-eyed wolf looked at Qin Feiyang, his eyes shining. With this thought, he couldn't help but feel excited. If he could really use the time array to speed up the replication of his fighting soul, then wouldn't his combat strength be more terrifying than little Qin Z's? This was because the special abilities of his fighting soul were the most deadly. Deprive the fighting soul, cultivation, and laws. As long as it succeeded, no matter how strong the opponent was, they would become useless. There was also little Crazy's blood eye. The petrification speed of the blood eye was also relatively slow. If the little madman could also borrow the power of the time formation to speed up the petrification process, then with their combined power, as well as Long Chen, the devil ancestor, and Mu Tianyang, they really might be able to contend against the Central Dynasty. Chapter 4503. Boom! The ultimates from both sides finally collided. In total, there were more than 1 million ultimates. What kind of scene was this? How terrifying was this? Your Highness, quickly use your origin energy to seal the Thousand Demons Valley. Dong Qingyuan said in a deep voice. If such a terrifying collision was not sealed, it would probably affect millions of miles away and cause countless casualties. If the Central Dynasty was covered in corpses and rivers of blood just to eliminate Qin Feiyang and the others, it would not be worth it. It would be best if, the Central Dynasty could kill these people without sacrificing anything. But he had never thought that there would be such an easy thing in the world. There was a saying that only with effort could there be gains. In war, this saying could also be used. Only with sacrifice could there be victory. How could it be possible to eliminate the enemy without sacrificing a single soldier? I don't have enough origin energy to seal the Thousand Demons Valley. Princess Yuxian said. This, Dong Qingyuan's expression froze. Although he was the emperor's confidant, he did not know how much origin energy the emperor and Princess Yuxian had. What should he do now? Did he really have to sacrifice those innocent lives to kill these people? Rumble. Crack. The shockwaves of the battle erupted like a tsunami, surging in all directions. Wherever it went, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. It was like the end of the world. Before, Lunatic's confrontation with the heavenly tribulation and the ultimates did not endanger the creatures outside the Thousand Demons Valley. This was because there were 120,000 will of heaven powerhouses sealing the shockwaves of the battle. Moreover, now that more than 1 million ultimates were colliding, the destructive shockwaves had far surpassed Lunatic's. Therefore, if he wanted to seal the shockwaves of the battle, he had to have enough origin energy. There was no other way. What are you still standing there for? Hurry up and run. Let's see if you have the right to join in the fun. The Kunping turned its head to look at the sea of people behind it and roared. The humans, ferocious beasts, and sea beasts that came to join in the fun were all scared silly. Hearing the Kunpeng's roar, they could not help but shudder and turn around to escape. They used all kinds of methods. Some opened space-time teleportation channels. Some opened teleportation divine artifacts. There were also people who activated the instant time as if they were fleeing for their lives. Everyone, listen up. Try your best to block the shockwaves from the battle. Looking at the chaotic crowd, Princess Yuxian slightly frowned. She swept her gaze in every direction of Myriad Devil Valley and shouted, "Everyone, listen up. Try your best to block the fluctuations of the battle." Boom! As soon as he finished speaking, streaks of heavenly laws appeared and gathered in the sky, forming a barrier that was as tall as the sky. In the meantime, Princess Yuxian also waved her hand, and a wave of origin energy appeared, sealing the barrier in front of the entrance. The origin energy she possessed was only enough to seal off this direction. Rumble. Waves of battle surged out. The barrier formed by the origin energy was not affected at all. But in the other directions, the barriers formed by the monster kings, beast kings, and members of the death god army were not as tough. With the surging of the battle, the barrier immediately began to distort and deform, as if it could shatter at any time. No. This has already far exceeded their limits. Even if they put their lives on the line, they won't be able to hold on for long. Princess Yuxian saw this scene with her own eyes, and she was extremely worried. If this continued, the barrier would break, and the people in Myriad Devil Valley would be plunged into misery and suffering. Suddenly, she turned her head to look at the fleeing people and shouted, "When you go back, tell the city lords in this area to evacuate immediately with the people in the city. The further the better." Yes. Although they were all responding, they did not turn their heads. Because they did not dare to turn their heads. They were afraid that if they turned their heads, they would be delayed for a moment and lose their lives here. Qin Feiyang and the others saw all of this, but they did not take it to heart. It did not matter to them whether the people in the Central Dynasty lived or died. In fact, if the Central Dynasty really fell into a bloodbath, it would be a good thing for them. It was not because they were heartless, nor was it because they were indifferent. Because the people in the Central Dynasty, whether they were direct descendants, or collateral descendants, they were all the emperor's descendants. The beasts and sea beasts here also served the emperor as their master. In other words, their deaths were not to be regretted. More than 1,000,000 ultimates, they were almost evenly matched. Even if there was a gap, whether it was Qin Feiyang or Princess Yuxian and the others, they could easily make up for it with their powerful strength. And the evil power in Myriad Devil Valley had already been transferred. Transferring and absorbing were two different concepts. No matter how fast the absorption was, it still needed a process. But transferring was a large-scale transfer, so it did not need much time. As long as they transferred all the evil power here to the Black Tortoise realm, they could begin to think of a way to break out. I promise, no, I swear that today, you will all die here. Princess Yuxian stared at Qin Feiyang and the others, her eyes flashing with a cold light. Is that so? You want to protect the people in the Central Dynasty, then we will kill them. I want to see how you will let us die here today. White-eyed Wolf cackled and turned to the demon ancestor. It's your turn. Let her experience the taste of despair. The demon ancestor smiled. The eye of despair opened. When the eye of despair locked onto them, Princess Yuxian, Dong Hanzong, Dong Qingyuan, Kuanpeng, and the dragon god immediately fell into the abyss of despair, unable to extricate themselves. As Princess Yuxian fell into despair, the origin energy she controlled lost its balance. The barrier formed by the origin energy collapsed with a loud bang. Following the collapse of the barrier, the terrifying shockwaves from the battle poured out from the entrance like a torrent that had been opened. The first to bear the brunt was Dong Hanzong and the others. They were all sent flying, blood gushing out of their bodies. Because now, they did not have the protection of the origin energy. The only one who was unharmed was Dong Hanzong. Although he had also fallen into despair, his Qianquan domain did not disappear. With the invincible body, he would be invincible for an hour. Even Dong Qingyuan and the others were in mortal danger, let alone the other living beings. Those who had grasped the law of spacetime, had the spacetime teleportation artifact, and had the instant time were relatively lucky. Because now, they had successfully escaped from Myriad Devil Valley. But those who did not have these means were about to face a disaster. Mountains collapsed crazily one after another. The void and the firmament were sinking, as if the end of the world had arrived. And those who fled, without exception, were all destroyed along with the collapsing mountains. The void and the firmament were splattered with blood on the spot. More than 1,000,000 ultimate laws that contained the will of the heavenly Tao. It was not an exaggeration to say that the shockwaves of the battle at this level could destroy the world. Therefore, how could these people contend against him? For a time, it was as if this place had become hell on earth. Miserable wails and roars of despair rang out incessantly. The collapsing world was dyed red. It was a ghastly sight. Even from afar, he could feel the tragic atmosphere and smell the pungent smell of blood. You're tuning into the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.